Are we lying? I said, are we lying? Are we lying in his ass? Are we lying? I didn't even know are we lying. Are we lying? Well, if we lie, then let's get started.
Rodero, the one man himself. Going into a sad Yo, I don't understand. My fellow man, we grew up in the same hood, going to the same school, was raised by the same rules and values. Man, how did we find out so different? We were on the same page, the same stage, but then you shifted. You started hanging with an upset. Those hardcore boys who do nothing but destroy, pillage, loot. Why did you follow that route? It's a dead end. And what's my only friend in the world? I remember we used to score Jody curls and waves. I used to save ourselves from the bully that tried to rough us up, but we hung tough. I remember our dreams of making it big. How we used to wrestle in the mud like sweaty pigs up. Those were the days. Remember how we used to go to church and pray, stay all day, help serve the congregation, listen to sermons on the devil's temptation. We were going to be gospel stars, but one day you got a car and you closed. I should have asked you how you suddenly blowed up when we were poor growing up. I suppose, but I didn't want to stick my nose in your business. Hope I never find out who did this to you, because I made them join you in this casket. But what could it do? You just have someone else wanting to feel in the same thing. I went over to the drug game.
We need to. Oh, what? Oh, we will die together if we don't make it better. America, wake up!
Then why'd you have to do it? We had such high hopes. How many more times before we cope with this poison that we call dope is working our unity, ruining our community?
And we do nothing.
Our children are dying. When will somebody do something? I'm speaking out, but what can I do? My grandpa used to bounce me on his knees, schooling me on Jim Crow and slavery. He said one bad apple falls of one to start a brawl. One man must throw the first punch. So I dedicate this song to my buddy. Remember, we used to study the word. We were straight nerds, but with talent. We used to serve up jocks on a platter, but they're gone now. What does that matter? It can't bring you back. Materialism is a trap. It doesn't bring security. If it did, you would still be with me. Not being buried 10 feet deep enough to victim to these streets that many claim. Left you on, you left me all alone. I still got your number on my phone. I look back on the days we shared together. In my heart, you'll live forever.
We need to try together, or we will die together if we don't make things better. America, wake up!
Yeah. This is a true story, so before you open your mouth, be sure something intelligent comes out.
Hey.
I'm pissed off. I know what caused some loss because pouring out some liquor. If you start slinging, you die quicker. That's a fact, so think twice. Is the money worth your life, your legacy? I'm trying to start a movement. Who's going with me? Who's willing to help? Stop thinking about yourself. Here's the score. Sooner or later, one of yours will drop. Top dependent on a cop. How many more babies will be born addicted to that rock? Staying from the womb, heading for the tomb, and birth slogans like say no, don't work. You can't hide this problem. It takes a whole community to solve it. We need more than drug treatment. That's complicated what makes people seek it. So there's got to be something wrong. So when it's more point to a substance that is so strong, and then people sell their bodies, their babies, turning our city into a living hell. Yo, we gotta do something about this drug problem, something about our youth. I don't tell you, one of your cars, you can't even make it to age 30 in America today. You understand what I'm saying?
America, wake up!
All right, y'all, this is by special request. Well, somebody asked for this song.
The woman
Special request.
I'm coming at you.
Hey, what's going on now?
I'm tired of all these radio referees on the radio and talk shows on the corner with 40 in the hand talking about how things got so bad. Well, they were the adults. They didn't handle their business. So I think I can tell you what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm cleaning up these streets. 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 Yeah, I'm taking it to you, running through you like diarrhea. You look crap up. I feel like you like a kleptomaniac. I bring it back to attitude. I got nothing to prove. I want to make you move. So get up. Say no, this is no brain till I stay focused. Gotta be back on feet on the street. Who on my neighborhood? You might got kids, but no damn good. I'm taking the stand up and put one man on my block. I'm preaching up all hands. I'm just so I get on the street. We have a whole obligation to ensure the safety of our nation. Let's start. All black at a time, wherever sit. Grab a gun. Don't let no one pull your focus, please. So you'll take them, turn up the heat. Exercise the right, fight, so right. Yeah, like I said, I'm cleaning up these streets. I'm cleaning up these streets. Cleaning up these streets. I'm cleaning up these streets. Yo, you're a man on my buddy, you have me in house. When I pick up the report, the other report, you come for favors, you know your neighbors. Sit back and see the fact that they don't like that. You all know them. You want to get nothing back straight, don't keep out. When the news spreads, you have under your bed, go to your house, check that your face. You come get shot, you go to get straight. But no one cares, hey, you better use them, you can see that's the attitude, the crime, that's everyone broke. Somebody told them fools don't even make you afraid of your own security. Either our sons or our daughters. You can say for quarter. Now, that's all really tough up. But you put that hands on the guns up. He ain't doing nothing. They know if you can stop front your fucking doing information to help you improve your situation. We didn't care about home street. Man, about the mayor and stuff. And like I said, yo, I'm cleaning up these streets. 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 If you love my spot, I ain't living in the middle of the idea like I'm to the crackhead. How can you cope on that I took them so it's over work just using their body for some crack, selling their body for smoke better than baby, especially that turn.
Come on and do what you said. Don't ask the man for help. Come on and do what you said.
Having fun all day, you for death, all you have was a cup her week, the generations and the HIV, the AID, but no one thinks you can. No one cares if you want to everything that had to say. Ha, get them like what you already said. You better call me.
Man for help. Hey, it's right.
Like I said, yo, honestly, I'm cleaning up these streets.
No more drugs, y'all.
I'm cleaning up these streets.
Taking out you thugs,
I'm
y'all.
cleaning up these streets.
These dealers got to
I'm
go.
cleaning up these streets.
Even you pimps and
I
hoes.
ain't gonna sit here in front, yo. You know what's going on outside your door.
Don't ask the man for help.
Come
Come on and do it yourself. Don't ask the man for help. Come on and do it yourself. Take responsibility. Take responsibility for your actions. And we get ready to get into somebody who didn't take responsibilities. But let's get this theme song out the way. Let's get it. Y'all ready to rock tonight? And we got the Bible sermon. Are y'all ready? Come on and hold me tight. But all you wanna do is fuss, cuss, argue, and fight. See, I can't help you out with that. But check this out. Hold me tight. But all you wanna do is fuss, cuss, argue, and fight. Take it easy and take it slow. Welcome to the BD show. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to a Brother Darren show. You other YouTubers, y'all straight greasy. Your whack beef video sound cheesy. Please, somebody release me. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the BD show. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the Brother Darren show. I ain't stressing. I'm here to teach a lesson. I ain't stressing. I'm here to teach a lesson. I ain't stressing. I'm here to teach a lesson. Keeping you other YouTubers out there guessing. So take it easy and take it slow. Welcome to the BD show. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the Brother Darren show. Put that la la in it. You other YouTubers, y'all straight greasy. Your white beef video sound cheesy. Please, somebody told cheesy. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the BD show. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the Brother Darren show. Come on and hold me tight. Hey, don't turn off the light. Hold me tight. Hey, don't turn off the light. Bring my beat back. Hold me tight. Hey, don't turn off the light. Don't turn off the light. But take it easy and take it slow. Welcome to the BD show. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the Brother Darren show. You other YouTubers, y'all straight greasy. Your white beef video sound cheesy. Please, somebody release me. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the BD show. Take it easy and take it slow. And welcome to the Brother Darren show. Put that la la in it. Hold me tight. Hey, don't turn off the light. Hold me tight. Hey, don't turn off the light. Don't turn off the light. But take it easy and take it slow. Welcome to the Minister, Brother Darren show. All right. We normally don't do the theme song on Sermon Day, but we got news. That's the StreamYard. We on StreamYard today. If anybody want to call in, there is the link. It's up at the top of the chat. Naya says, happy Wednesday. Liz, BDS, virtual hugs. The driver says, hello, BD. Naya. The driver says, keep me in your prayers. I have pneumonia. I just got out the hospital. Oh, Lord. Oh, the driver. Somebody remind me to do a prayer for the driver when we get to the second part of the show. The driver says he had it for 2 weeks and didn't know it. Oh, no. Naya says her emojis are broken. I don't know. Can you do the emojis over here? Let me see. All I can do is post a comment. Yeah, I don't know if you can do it on the I don't know if you can do it on the Hangouts. There she is. Hey, Liz. I don't know. Can you do the emojis on the StreamYards? I don't know. But all right, looks like we have the nucleus here. Like to take everybody. Just stop what you're doing right now. Everybody bow their heads. We got a family member that's in trouble. Everybody bow their heads. Let's all come together as we pray for one of our family members. The driver is sick with pneumonia. I had pneumonia in 2016. It almost took me out. A lot of people say, I know how you're feeling, but they really don't know. I know because I had it in 2016. I hope you don't have it as bad as I did, that you couldn't even talk. But the driver, all of us here at the BD show, all of us, we're going to come and we're going to ask Jesus Christ, in your sweet name, can you pass this message on along to Lord God the Father? Ask him, can he please bless the driver with perfect health? Let him recover. Don't let him wind up in the ER like I was. Don't let him wind up in the intensive care unit. Can you keep our family members safe? We know you can do it. You can do anything. You're all knowing. You knew what I was going to say before I said it. But we humbly ask you, can you heal the driver? And anybody else that's in this Minister BD family, can you keep them safe? Keep them out of harm's way. Keep them out of the snatches of the devil and his demons. I ask you this humbly as I pray for my family with all my might. Can you honor my prayer and bless them? Jesus Christ, in your sweet name, in the name of Lord God Jehovah, amen. All right. All right. Liz says pneumonia is terrible. Oops. Tony says, G driver, sorry to hear that, bro. Hope you feel better. Driver says, thanks, Tony. Naya says, hey, Liz. All right, I got everybody caught up, I think. All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Y'all know it's the Wednesday night Bible study, but it's also Breonna's Taylor boyfriend speaks out. Now, I know that I saw my notifications that old Sissy Mayor and got the jump on me. But y'all know we do the news here. And I don't care who cover it. Nobody covers the news like we do. Y'all know what I think about Breonna Taylor. Y'all know what I think about Kenneth Walker. Y'all done heard what I said. I ain't got to repeat it. But let's go take a look and see what this douchebag said. I'm not no friend of him. Now, y'all might, I ain't trying to hit. Okay. One of them sprang up and one of them didn't. I don't know why. So, okay. Now, we're going to bring it here. Hold on, y'all. We on the stream, y'all. It's a little bit different. Ain't as easy as the OBS. OBS is easier. Come on. You show me the words, man.
Why isn't there an app that'll deliver me energy?
Snuggle commercial in. That's all right. Don't get mad. Come on back. Here. Stop the screen sharing. Screen share. Share screen. And I hope this is it. All right. Share. Okay. Now let's come back. So why ain't the video playing? All right. Hold on a sec. Something wrong. Hold on. Let me deny. Get off the Hangouts, man. Come on. Do your job. Give me a fast reboot. All right. I should have restarted the phone, but we didn't. We ain't gonna cry about it. Okay. I got the phone up in the air. All right. Let's get it, y'all.
To the world, she just act.
He told us,
Come on, man.
his name is Kenneth Walker. Now, he was with Taylor when she was killed by Louisville police officers on March 13th. He told us that they were in bed watching a movie when police raided the apartment as part of a narcotics investigation that was targeting her ex-boyfriend. We should point out that Kenneth Walker and Breonna Taylor do not have a criminal history, and no illegal drugs were found in that home. We went to Louisville over the weekend to talk with Kenneth Walker about that night.
To the world, she just hashtag a picture and all of that, but to me it was much more. More than a girlfriend too. I think that's what I want the world to know the most. That was my best friend. The most important person pretty much to me on the earth, and they took her.
Let's go back to that day. What kind of day was it for you two?
It was a normal day. It was a relaxed day.
Facebook shops, your customers can...
All right, hold on a sec, y'all. We got a problem here, and I can't figure out why. What is the problem? Why is it moving in slow motion? Go back to the OBS. Is it because the animations are on? Let's calm that down. Skip ad. I just hit skip ad. Skip ad again.
Really just chilling and just being us. You know, we went on a date, went out to eat.
Wait a minute. Do a refresh. Something ain't right.
Welcome back to CBS.
Yeah,
This morning, we have an exclusive interview with Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. His name is Kenneth Walker. Now, he was with Taylor when she was killed by Louisville police officers on March 13th. He told us that they were in bed watching a movie when police raided the apartment as part of a narcotics investigation that was targeting her ex-boyfriend. We should point out that Kenneth Walker and Breonna Taylor do not have a criminal history, and no illegal drugs were found in that home. We went to Louisville over the weekend to talk with Kenneth Walker about that night.
To the world, she just hashtag a picture and all of that, but to me it was much more. More than a girlfriend too. I think that's what I want the world to know the most. That was my best friend. The most important person pretty much to me on the earth, and they took her.
Let's go back to that day. What kind of day was it for you two?
It was a normal day. It was a relaxed day. Really just chilling and just being us. You know, we went on a date, went out to eat, went back in the house, playing, watching a movie.
Take us to that moment when your life really changed forever.
It was a loud bang at the door. Nobody was responding. And we were saying, who is it?
You all did ask, who is it?
Several times, both of us. And there was no response.
You know, the police say that they said several times, it's the police.
If they knock on the door and say who it was, we can hear them. It's dead silent. I'm 1,000,000% sure that nobody identified themselves.
So the next thing you hear, the door flies off the hinges. Are you feeling afraid?
Definitely afraid. But I don't have much room to be afraid because I got somebody here that I got to take care of.
So you hear the heavy knocking, and what do you do?
So now at that point, we're getting up to put on clothes, make ourselves decent to answer the door. Then I grab my gun.
We should also say you were licensed to carry the gun.
For sure. That was the one time I had to use it. I mean, if it was the police at the door and they just said we're the police, me or Breonna didn't have a reason at all not to open the door and see what they wanted.
So the doors fly off the hinges.
I let off one shot, and I'm figuring if somebody's trying to break in or something, they're not going to want to do anything after that.
And after that, what happens?
I don't think I ever heard so many gunshots like all at the same time. I've never been to war, but I assume that's what war probably sounds like.
One officer fired 6 shots. Officer Mattingly. Officer Cosgrove fired 16 shots. Officer Hankinson fired 10 shots. That is a lot of firepower.
I still try to make sense of it to this day. There was definitely nowhere to hide. There's bullets coming in every direction.
When did you realize that Breonna had been shot?
I guess in the middle of all the gunfire, like she screamed. Like I was holding her hand.
You were holding her hand?
Yeah, like while this was happening. I pulled her down to the ground. But she was just scared, so she just didn't get down.
So in the middle of all of this, you realized that she's been hit. Was she alive at the time?
She was still, and all the gunfire stopped. She was like bleeding and stuff, and I was holding her. Then that's when I called my mom.
You called your mom first?
Yeah, I told her that somebody just kicked in the door and shot Breonna. She's freaking out at this point, but she told me to call 911.
New Power Bites. Tasty breakfast bite.
Why is everything moving so slow?
For the emergency. I don't know what's happening. Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend.
While you're on the phone, you don't know it's the police.
I didn't know it was the police, at all. And I even proceeded to tell 911 that, somebody just kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend, If I knew who it was, I would have said the police. Or I wouldn't have been calling the police on the police. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Where was she shot at? I don't know. She's on the grill right now. I don't know. Is she alert and ever talk to you? No, she's not. Breathe.
And in the midst of me talking to 911, I'm like, well, Breonna's mama should know about this too. I hung up on them and I called her mama.
The police didn't come rushing in?
Not at all. I don't think I realized that it was the police until I was on the phone with Breonna's mom. I heard like people outside talking. I thought they was, coming for help because I called 911.
So you think they're coming to help you?
Yes. So when I come outside, there's guns pointed at me. I'm being threatened with dogs and whatever else.
Put your hands on your heart.
The officer asked me, was I hit by any bullets? I said no. He said, that's unfortunate. So that threw me off too. So I'm like, what's he mean by that?
That's unfortunate, he said to you after you just lost your girlfriend and you don't know what is happening. What did you think when he said that?
I didn't know what to think, and I really wasn't worried about me. The only reason I'm even out here is because the only way for her to get help in there is for me to be out here.
We were scared. No, we didn't know who it was. We didn't even know who it was.
I was in the back of the car. I got drugged all the way down the street. It was cold. It was wet. I didn't want any socks and shoes. On gravel, rocks, and everything. They was just dragging me like I had scabs and stuff on my feet from that.
When they take you to the police station, still no socks and shoes.
Still no socks and shoes. When we finally left the scene, we pulled over in like a random parking lot on Manslake, which is the street, like at the bottom of the hill down the street from Breonna's apartment. And another officer in an unmarked car, and he wasn't in uniform and stuff, and he came to my window, but his tone was way different than everybody else's who was just on the scene.
How so? Different how?
He told me that this was a misunderstanding, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it, and asking me, did I need anything? Did I need water and this and that?
Hey, partner, can I get your name? Kenneth Walker, there was a little bit of miscommunication. I wanted to talk to you before they left.
And then when I got to the police headquarters or whatever it was, they took the handcuffs off me and everything. I was walking around, went to the bathroom.
And then when you get there, you take the handcuffs off.
So clearly y'all know something's wrong. Because you don't...
You're allowed to move freely.
Yeah, you don't allegedly shoot a police officer and they take the handcuffs off you.
Were you surprised to hear that you were accused of shooting a police officer?
I definitely was surprised. But I was more concerned about, is he okay? And is Breonna okay? At this point, I still didn't even know if she was alive or not.
So when did officers tell you you were going to be charged with attempted murder? When did you hear that?
Maybe like 5 or 6 in the morning that same night.
What did you think?
I was worried about if Breonna was okay or not.
When were you finally told that Breonna didn't make it?
I never really got told, like, directly. I saw it on the news.
That's how you heard Breonna Taylor died, on the news?
Pretty much. And I was in the cell and it was like on the news and it said one, female there that confirmed it. I didn't know for sure what condition, she was in when I left. So I didn't know what they did. But as these body cam videos are still coming out, I see they did nothing. Clearly we see the SWAT team in there and she was still in there. They're still like casing the apartment. Let's have laying right there on the ground.
Park school is now a crime scene. Let's go ahead and move out. All right, she's done.
And that's just basic wavy guy maintenance, right? Next up.
Are you gonna do it like that? Uh-oh. I did something by accident. What I do? What did I do? Come on, man. What is going on with this video? See, you doing something I didn't ask you to do. Go back, man. I don't know what's going on. Why this thing moving in slow motion?
I think if you had not survived this incident, that we would be hearing the story that we're hearing today. If you had not survived it.
Definitely not. That wouldn't be a story. You probably wouldn't even know about it. If I didn't live, you probably wouldn't even know about Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor or Kenny Walker.
Or Kenny Walker. I don't want everybody to know about Kenny Walker though. As long as everybody knows Breonna Taylor.
And what do you want us to know about Breonna Taylor?
Just she did anything for anybody. She took care of a lot of people. There's a lot of people that need her bad right now. Including me.
Wow.
A grand jury accepted the Kentucky Attorney General's recommendation not to charge any officers for Breonna Taylor's death. Both the Louisville Metro Police Department and attorneys for 3 individual officers involved declined our request for interviews or for comment. I mean, I'm very struck. Kenny Walker, you can still see, is shattered. He's still in a lot of pain. I think this interview was very difficult for him. That night they were watching a movie called Freedom Riders, and he went to watch it again. And he said he still gets triggered by songs, movies, certain types of food. And I think it's so important to discuss, to stress, no criminal record.
Yep.
It was the first time that he's ever fired his gun when he wasn't on the shooting range. And to this day, he goes, I'm not really even sure I hit the police officer. They told me I did, but I'm not really even sure about that.
I think everybody in America should watch that piece because they think they may have an idea of what happened. This will change your perspective. And I think it comes down to accountability and proportional use of force.
Yes.
This is a legal Kentucky gun owner who fired one shot into what he thought was an intruder. He got 20 plus bullets from multiple people on the outside who couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah.
That's not proportionate.
And it's totally dark in the apartment. That was interesting, too, about calling 911. He said, why would I call 911 if I thought it was the police?
Well, and clearly by what he says to 911, he doesn't understand what's happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the really compelling part too, is the way he was treated there and the different way he was treated at the police station.
Exactly.
Do other police officers think that was a disciplined response to Kenneth Walker's single shot? I think that's a question I'd like to
It's
have.
a lot of questions. And we've got more of the interview with Kenneth Walker. In our next hour, we'll have more of what he says, including his reaction to the nationwide protest over Breonna Taylor's death. As he said, to a lot of people, she's a hashtag, not to him. And
All righty, everyone. All right. Anybody have any comments? Now they've heard that. What makes this really bad is, forget all the other stuff. What makes this really bad is for the women in this chat, especially the black women, that the officer that was inside the apartment didn't go check on her, didn't touch her, said, she done. Like she was a bag of trash. That should be the most thing that stick out in your mind. That woman was an afterthought. They didn't go down there and see if they can give a CPR. They just looked and said, she done. Yeah, we trash. What do y'all ladies think about that? That's what these men think about you. They didn't check to see if she was still breathing. They go, she done. I mean, whatever. Yeah, they're a black woman now, you know. Anybody else in here? Yeah. We got a black woman down there, whatever. That's the most irritating thing. Now, I noticed that in the police interviews, in the other interviews he gave, he said he thought the boyfriend was at the door. The ex-boyfriend. He didn't say that today. That's what I was waiting to hear. He didn't say it. Y'all know that he got a court case coming up. He's trying to get $12.5 million. Because, see, he's trying to get $10.5 million, excuse me. Because, see, he's not related to Breonna Taylor. He was only her boyfriend for 2 weeks. I mean, for 2 months. If it was 2 months, less than 2 months. You think the family giving him some of that money? He's trying to get his own. Is that why he's speaking out? Did he come on Gayle King to help ensure that he gets some money? See, you ain't going to get these questions over there on Sister Mayor. Anybody have any opinions? Anybody have any opinions? Are you horrified by the police? Are you horrified by the response of the police? I'm asking you. Naya says BDS, they might donate to him. That man ain't got no business being alive. He shot at the cops. He should have been shot, not the girl. He got enough time to call his mother, 911, and Breonna Taylor mother. He on the phone and she taking bullets. He said they was in the hallway, but his gun was found on her bed. I won't let y'all forget that. See, because y'all will forget that little detail. Then he just said that he had about a hand in the hallway. How he didn't get shot then? If he was in the hallway with her, how did those 20-something bullets in that little apartment not hit him? Breonna got hit, 8 times? And he's standing right next to her holding her hand. He didn't get hit none. Nah, he wasn't in that hallway, right? You can talk to me till you blue in the face. I'm not going to buy that. He ain't getting out one bullet. They both in the hallway, and all of a sudden the bullets only hit Breonna, don't hit Kenneth. Only hit Breonna, don't hit Kenneth. In another account, he said that he was standing behind her. You are the man. You supposed to be in front, not in the back. So he using her for a shield? Why would he be standing behind her? When you posing for a picture, you put the woman in front of you. Hey, boo-boo. In times of danger, you put the woman and kids behind you, not in front of you. You put them behind you. So he's just sitting there holding on to her. Oh, let me get the baby. Just let her take the shots. If you were going to shoot, you should have sent her out the way. You should have had her go hide in the closet. Why you didn't do that? Tony says the police have always had this attitude, but now the light is on them because of social media. Welltail says hi. Naya says they might donate to him. Well, Naya, we get ready to find out. We get ready to find out. I don't know what's going on. But something going on with this StreamYard today. Everything going in slow motion. I don't know what it is. Everything seems to be going in slow motion. Even as I move. Seems like it's in slow motion. I don't know what it is, but if anybody want to call in, we on StreamYard. All you got to do is hit the link. And you come right in. You ain't got to block your number and all that other good stuff. But you heard Gail say that there's a part 2. So let's see what happened in the part 2. I haven't watched these. I want to watch them with you. I haven't watched these. I want to watch them with you. Now, I've had these bookmarked. And then I bookmarked them again so that everything will be in the same one. But I bookmarked this early on. Naya says BDS when the flight or fight adrenaline rush overtake you, thinking goes out the window sometime. You can't make them look good. The man supposed to protect the woman and children. If they both standing in the hallway, how come he didn't get touched? How she pick up 8 bullets and he ain't pick up none? He wasn't in that hallway when they started shooting. I say he dove in that bedroom. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. His gun was found in the bedroom on her bed. He's in there calling everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry he can think of. And you can hear him calling out to her. Breonna. If she's right there with him, why is he calling out to her? When the lady asked him, was she breathing or what kind of injury she had, he couldn't tell her. Why? She was out in the hallway. He wasn't there with her. The man that shot at the police ducked back in the bedroom out the way and missed all that fire and left Breonna out there to take it. And you say that man deserved $10.5 million. Whatever. Anybody want to come challenge me on what I said, call in. I put the link in. The link is in the description. There it is right there. Hit that link. Come on in. Hit the link and come on in. This man trying to get $10 million for what? He should be lucky he's not in jail. Trying to get $10 million. I know. You still moving in slow motion? Something's definitely wrong. I know I paused that. I ain't gonna say nothing. All right, let's go in. Share screen. All right, y'all should be able to see that on y'all screen. I don't know why we moving in slow motion today. I really don't. Skip ahead. Skip ahead again.
His struggles with the emotional trauma of her death. Kenneth Walker was with Taylor the night she was killed by Louisville police officers during a narcotics raid in March. Now, police were investigating another man. Neither Walker nor Taylor had a criminal history, and no illegal drugs were found in the home. Walker told us his love story with Taylor began actually on Twitter. We went to the Louisville home to talk to him and his parents, who considered Taylor family. They say that she brought joy into everybody's life. Kenny, I want to know about Breonna Taylor. What was it about her that attracted you to her?
She was funny, like me. And I could see from Twitter she played a lot, just like me, always joking, always laughing.
Come on. Come on.
These two. How did you know that she was the one for you?
We was friends for a long time before it ever evolved into anything else. So I think that's how I knew she was the one. We was too good at being friends, but it ended up working out. And I finally, we was getting it together, right?
Getting it together like you thought I could marry you, get it together, that kind of thing?
That was definitely in the talks. Definitely had a baby names and everything.
Like
Kimberly.
Oh, that's Kenneth and Breonna together. Ah. Walker says he and Taylor were collecting their favorite items for the family they hoped to build, like this pair of mini Air Jordans for the baby they wanted together. Looking at these baby shoes, what do they mean?
To me, it means it's something that's never going to happen.
Walker's parents, Valisha and Kenneth Walker Jr., have been supporting their son through his grief and want justice for Breonna Taylor, the woman who would have been their daughter-in-law.
I say it all the time, as a mom, you want the best mate for your children. And she just completed us. She completed the family.
On the night of the police raid, Kenneth says in his fear and panic, he called his mother for help before calling 911. Valisha Walker rushed to the scene, and recordings released by Louisville police show that she spoke to officers about what her son told her that night.
He called me and said,
They keep in the door. They keep in the door. I don't know what's going on.
it's just one of those calls as a mom that we hope we never get at 1 o'clock in the morning.
He couldn't tell you what had happened, could he?
He didn't know. I didn't hear anything at first in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard him screaming and crying.
What's your biggest concern as we sit here today about Kenneth?
It's hard. I'm mama. I can see things about him that he doesn't even realize. Whereas when they were little kids, if you had a bump on it,
You could fix
kiss
it.
it, I could blow it, but I can't fix this.
I've only listened to that 911 call once or twice, and it took me months to listen to it. And the thing is, his whole life, I've always been there to help him or to be there for him, and I couldn't help him.
Because he was considered a suspect in the beginning.
Right. And I mean, think about it. Reality is he's still a suspect in their mind. He's still their scapegoat.
In the chaos that followed the death of Breonna Taylor on March 13th, Walker was indicted for the attempted murder of a police officer. In May, those charges were dropped without prejudice, which means the case can be refiled in the future. For Kenneth and his family, it is a stark possibility that they never could have imagined.
The simple lessons that we teach them, that we hold true as parents. The lessons that we treat, ain't nothing good for you going on at the street. Stay at home. Here you are, this one time you at home. And you get in the worst trouble you've ever been at home. And you did nothing wrong. But do what you were taught to do. Be a man. Protect your family. Tell the truth.
Hey, stop playing with it.
It's like March 13th every day, pretty much. I never got to say bye. So that makes a big deal. Makes a big difference.
When it first happened, you're labeled a suspect, Breonna's labeled a suspect, and the police officer who was shot is labeled a victim. What do you make of that?
It's usually how it goes when you like to deal with police. So I think of that. I don't necessarily even see this as a black-white issue. It became that after they figured it out, but this is a right and wrong issue. It don't matter if it was blue, pink, purple, white, black, it doesn't really matter. It could have been elderly people in there, it could have been kids, it could have been anything. So it was just wrong all the way around the board, no matter who was in there. But it definitely turned into a black and white thing when I walked out.
Yeah, we should say that neither you or Breonna Taylor had a criminal history of violence or drugs.
I guess that doesn't matter to them either. People like to skip over that part.
Where do you go from here? I mean, I look at you and I just see so much pain, and rightfully so. Do you have friends who are helping you?
I actually do have a therapist. I'll be talking to him a lot more.
Yeah.
But I really don't agree with that. But you got to try everything to try to be okay.
When you hear the chant, say her name, what does that mean to you when you hear that?
It means she's getting the respect that she deserves. And that's the least that can happen.
What does justice look like for you for Breonna Taylor?
Breonna Taylor sitting right here next to me. That's the only justice for me.
Wow. None of the officers involved were charged for Breonna Taylor's death. Both the Louisville Metro Police Department and attorneys for the 3 individual officers involved declined our request for interview or comment on this case. And another thing that was really touching, when we were at her house, because he couldn't go to the funeral because he was in prison for attempted murder of a police officer, Breonna Taylor's mother has given him a little urn of her ashes. And they showed us the ashes. I didn't show it on camera, but just to be able to hold it and see it was very, very, I could physically feel that.
Yes.
Of course, it means a lot to him to have it, but there's just so many inconsistencies in this story.
He is such a compelling interview. And as we were talking in the break, but one of the things I said to you was, this started with a warrant that clearly was misguided. They were at the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, I want to know how that warrant got there.
Yeah, that's why Kenneth says it's not a black-white issue to him. It's a
right or wrong
issue.
And you understand why he reacted the way he did, because this is the thing, his story has never changed from that very first night. He's been very consistent about he had no idea what was happening. And to your point about the warrant, his attorneys were there, of course, while we were talking to him, and they can fill us in on how that warrant came to be and why the story does seem to have gone awry. Listen, it started out playing Uno and watching a movie.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, only one person has survived that.
And now can we say there's nothing sadder or more tragic than a pair of baby shoes never worn?
Gosh, Tony, there were so many things. It was a very, very, very tough day.
All righty. Now, Liz said, Naya, she may need a new stylist. What? What did I miss? Liz said, I'm distracted by Gail's outfit. What did she have on? Yeah, them daggone boots. Liz said she was talking about Gail. All right, so anybody have any comments? Anybody want to talk? I stand behind what I said. Somebody want to call in and challenge me, I challenge you. Come on in. Come on in here. I challenge anybody. Call in here. This case is so wrong under so many different circumstances and parameters. This is utterly ridiculous. You got a woman that's doing the wrong thing. And y'all don't want me to talk about it, but God darn it. How the young people going to learn? Not to keep making the same mistakes if you don't talk about it. Y'all act like because somebody did, they saints. The woman allowed herself to be used to be the bookie of a drug cartel that is feeding poison to a community that she's supposed to be a caregiver of. I'm going to provide everything to make sure you get high, to make sure you get addicted, to make sure you get sick, and then guess what? I get to take care of you. I'm the paramedic when you're OD that's going to bring you in. I'm also a nurse that's going to take care of you while you're in the hospital. I'm providing you with the drugs to get high. Then I'm providing you with the care you're going to need after the drugs mess you up. So y'all can talk to me all day. Okay? But knowing all that, knowing that she a trap hoe, knowing all that, she didn't deserve that. But what makes it worse that she brought a man in her house that helped her die. She didn't have that man in her bed. She'd still be alive today. She didn't have that man in her bed. Hey, Liz, I said it many a time. If somebody was doing something wrong, them dying don't make that wrong right. So get out your emotions. If somebody was evil or doing evil things, them dying don't make them saints. Yeah, she used to beat me. I still got the whips on my back. Yeah, she was an honorary thing. You said, you can't talk about her. She's dead. Long as I got these whops on my back, God darn it, I can't talk about her. She was evil. She was trash. She wasn't nothing. I don't care if she dead. She's still evil. She's still trash. She just dead. So get out your feelings. Some idiot came up with that phrase, don't speak ill of the dead. Somebody should have slapped that person across the lips when they said it. If they were ill, why not speak on it? Maybe it'll help other people not be ill. Why is it when somebody die, all of a sudden they're a saint? Oh, he was going to be a singer. He was going to be a great football player. He was going to be a rapper. He was going to be a comedian. He was so funny. Dude sat there selling drugs, wasn't going to do nothing but get shot or get locked up. But you want to, he wasn't great at nothing. You've been dating somebody for less than 2 months. They shouldn't be in your bed. That's a tramp. Somebody loose. That's a floozy. She ain't even had enough chance to get over the drug dealer boyfriend. She ain't already got somebody in the bed, hot in the pants. I can make that assessment. You can't debate it, but you can try. Call in. Man sitting there shot a police officer and trying to act like he a victim. You ain't no victim. She the victim, not you. You know better than to be laying up in the woman's house, especially when she just broke up with her drug dealer boyfriend. You gonna be sitting up in the house. You don't know when that man gonna come by there and want to get a hit, and you sitting there. That's why he had the gun. If you felt that you had to bring a gun to her house, you shouldn't have went. Doesn't that make sense? If I feel I need to carry a gun for safety, maybe I shouldn't go. That don't make sense. When you come on this show, we don't let you come throw comments out and don't back them up. Why the man carrying a gun? Unless he don't believe he's supposed to be there. Or he believes that it's dangerous for him to be there. Somebody knock at the door, your first thought to pick up a gun? He said he don't even carry the gun. As we said in the interview, he don't even be carrying the gun. So he knew he shouldn't have been there. I'm trying to make excuses. The man said that he carried the gun there because he thought it would be the boyfriend. For her to have somebody in her bed, you also heard him say, we had to get our clothes on. So for her to be in a relationship for only a month and something with somebody, and they already shacked up in the bed, if that's not hot pants, she ain't even take enough time to even grieve and get over that relationship. Because the relationship wasn't over, because everything's still in her name. That man's still coming by there. All she did was just find a different ding-a-ling. That's all Kenneth Walker was. Some ding-ding. And that's why he's sitting there all scared with a gun, because he think that the boyfriend's still hitting it. The ex-boyfriend's baby mama think he's still hitting it. Some of the guys in the gang still think he's hitting it. But I'll listen. Anybody want to call in? This is a messed up situation. But there's so many people that's at fault. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm just giving you a synopsis of what I see. You take the little bits and pieces and you put together a picture, and then you present it. And it's your job to knock it down. I have presented it to you. It's your job to knock it down. This man trying to get $10.5 million for laying up with a woman, for shooting a police officer in the leg, for getting a woman that he claimed he loved killed. He asked him for $10.5 million. Do you think he should get $10.5 million? Do you think he should be held accountable for her murder? I'm asking the question. Do you think she should be held accountable for her murder? He didn't shoot the cop. She don't get dead. She's not dead. Nobody got the other two houses that got hit dead. Why is Breonna Taylor dead? Because of the actions of Kenneth Walker. That's the reason why she's dead. We got a good topic here. Where's everybody at? Well, everybody's so scared to comment. 9 of y'all in here. Come on. How come only Liz speaking up? I guarantee you we go over there and look. If the sissy man's still on, I bet you he over there buck dancing and everybody in there chatting. He ain't gonna ask no hard questions. I'm asking the hard question. How come nobody don't want to answer? Y'all say y'all want to chat. Let's chat about something. Fact of the matter is, you got y'all the young ladies. In the old days, lady didn't leave home until she was married. Now they moving out 18, 19, going to live on their own. It's not acceptable. And we need to stop it. Young girls can't wait to get away from their daggone parents and go out there and sow their oats. It's supposed to be the men chasing the women and the women holding them off to get that ring. Now the women chasing the damn men, all hot in the pants. Liz said a lot go off to college, then on their own. In the old day, they didn't go off to college. They made them stay at home. They had to go to local college. Then somebody started, well, I'm going to let my daughter go. And then everybody else said, well, she get to go. How come we can't go? Well, all right, go ahead. And now they having all kind of orgy parties and all kind of drinking parties, and bad things are happening because these ladies not supposed to be unsupervised. They're supposed to be at home. I didn't say women shouldn't go to college. They shouldn't go away to college. They need to live with their parents till they get married. If you reach the age of 26, don't nobody come for you, ain't nobody gonna come for you. Then you let them go. Don't nobody come for you by the time you turn 26. Ain't nobody gonna come. Might as well let them go. And these days, you a young virgin and nobody come call for you. Ain't much hope for you, is it? Yeah, they turn 26 and still ain't got married, then go ahead and ain't no need and ain't nobody gonna come. She going to go out there and find what she can get. She going to go find somebody. Ain't nobody come look for her. Don't want her to become an old maid up in your house, man. I never leave. You want some grandkids, don't you? If ain't nobody coming to her, she gonna have to go to them. Problem is, when a woman chases a man, the man don't want you. He don't take you seriously. You gotta make a man earn you. You throw yourself at him, he's not gonna respect you. He ain't gotta put no work in to get you. It's like borrowing somebody else's car. You got your car, you gonna drive the speed limit. You gonna watch out for the potholes. You gonna make sure you ain't got no tickets. You got somebody else's car, their car, took the cab, hey, my car. That's how the men treat the women. It ain't what I wanted, but she offered. I went on, took her around the block a couple times, took me a couple spins. Marry you? Oh, you must have lost your mind. You really? You gotta make a man chase you. Be a little mysterious. Hold him out. I heard a young woman say, so you saying I'm supposed to hold out till a man marry me? Suppose he married me and then he get tired of me after a year. You get half. You get something. But he come bounce around with you. All you get is a few memories. At least you get half. You get something. You walk up there and get hit by a car, you get everything. You ain't like Kenneth Walker. Family got 12 million. He trying to get his little 10 million. Yeah. Don't forget about me. He'd have might have. That'd have been his 12 million. He'd have been rationing it out to the family as he fit. He would have got the 12 million. He the husband. He would have got the money. Now he got to sit there and try and get his own money. He should have married her. He'd have married her. He could have took $6 million and gave them $6 million and we're like, hey, I'm a $6 million man. If he'd have married her. But he didn't want to marry. He wanted to lay up with her. And guess what? No ring. No papers. No dough. They ain't got to give him nothing. They ain't got to give that man nothing. That's why he trying to get his own. He trying to get his own. He didn't marry her. He ain't got nothing to do with burying her. He can't get that check. No money for him. Unless the family feels sorry for him and give him a couple dollars. He could have had the whole king caboodle if he'd have married her. Well, anybody wouldn't deny that. If he would have married Breonna Taylor, he would have got the money. He'd have been the husband. He'd have been right there. Hands stuck out. Give me a couple dollars. Because he wasn't married. He ain't no kin to her. He ain't no relation to her. They ain't got to give him nothing. Whatever money she had in the bank, don't go to Kenneth Walker. TV, whatever. Don't nothing go to Kenneth Walker. He don't have no ties to her. Other than he was boinking her. No claim on her. He had the mercy of what the family want to give him. He had the mercy. Why? He didn't do the right thing. He gonna lay up with her. He should have married her. They talking about they playing in the family. Why he didn't marry her? Why you gonna have a baby with her? You're not gonna marry her. I'm just asking the question. Everybody want to get mad. Don't get mad. Come tell me what I said ain't right. Y'all are coming there with the devil want to do. I'm coming there what God wants you to do. If he had done what God said to do, he wouldn't have to sit there and have his own lawsuit. He would be getting at least half of that $12 million. Now he got scrimp and scrape. He got scrimp and scrape. Try and get some money. He lucky he ain't doing time. If they planning a baby, they should have been planning the marriage. Even if he was engaged to her, he would have had a little something to do. Hey, I'm the fiance. I don't get a couple dollars. Right now, he just the boyfriend. He just hitting it. How do you think the father feel about him just hitting it? Think the father want to give him any money? He's sitting there just using my daughter as a trampoline. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. I'm asking the questions. Hey, Echelon, you want to call in? I'm asking the questions. A lot of people want to sit here and talk and make excuses. I'm bringing the truth. I know. Naya said, what's done is done. You can't rewrite the situation. No, you can't, Naya. But we can teach the young women, don't make the same dumb mistakes. That's what we can do. We can teach the women, don't make the same dumb mistakes. Because 40 years ago, this wouldn't have happened. But it happens now. 40 years ago, it wouldn't have happened. Our values have fallen so low. They fallen so low. We just let the people do whatever they want to do. All willy-nilly. Nobody held accountable. Everybody just doing whatever they want to do. All willy-nilly. And nobody don't say a word. Well, I'm calling it out. Stop laying up. If a man won't put a ring on your finger, He shouldn't be able to get between your legs. We need to teach our young ladies that. That's your value. Once you give it up, your value just like a car coming off the lot. When a car on the lot, you can get full price for it. The minute somebody drive it off, it depreciates. The more men you let take you for a test ride, the more you depreciate. The more mileage get put on you. Only one man should be putting mileage on you. The man that's going to put mileage on you for life. Find them. If you can't find them, you wasn't meant to be married. Start doing charity work. Start preaching. Go from town to town. Maybe you'll convert somebody and meet Mr. Right. But don't take Mr. Wrong because you feel you can't do better. Let's get into our first topic tonight. Do I still have it open? Yeah. So let's go. Give me a second, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Minister Brother Derek here. I just want to do this real quick. It's 4:39, so let's go ahead and get it. Let's just go ahead and get this. I'm going to drop it for you. Stop looking, listen. Please stop resisting. It's a new day. Let's try a new way. Jesus put an offer on the table, and everyone out there is now able to come home regarding your heart. You're never alone if you believe me. You don't need that weed. Give Jesus a hug and put down those drugs. The victory over devil's already won. So why are you picking up that gun? If this word is actually defective, why do you need that alcoholic drink? Because the devil tells you, he fools you. But the minister is here to school you. I'm here to preach. I'm here to teach. And it's you I'm trying to read through this song that I composed. When Jesus comes back, only God knows. Are you ready or are you set heavy? Are you ready or are you set heavy? You won't be if you follow me. Are you moving there? Oh God, what can I say about you? You still love my sinners and you offer your grace for free. I'm not worthy, but you still search me out of a life of sin. And with Jesus' help, I know I can win. I love serving my Lord. He opens the door to a relationship with God. This is the only way in. In the name of Jesus, I always pray and I lay myself as a footstool for the lost demons. I know that, for it's not true to be a believer, but I'm not with my soul in the hands of the deceiver. A wicked devil who brings up with trouble. Put my desires of angst and unfruition. Paradise, a day with no pain, no stress. You gave me the weight, and now I'm blessed. You can test me, let the devil stress me. But baby, hell is one place I don't want to see. So stop, look, and listen. Please stop resisting. It's a new day. Let's try a new way. Are you ready? Or are you set heavy? Stop, look, and listen. Please stop resisting. It's a new day. Let's try a new way. Minister, Brother Derek. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Peace, everyone. everybody seems to have a double standard, and we don't get no respect in the world. We are considered weak. We are considered soft. We are considered dumb for believing in the book. But yet these people have no moral. And you see what it brought us on to. We get no credit. So this is for those who are ignorant, who are amazing, who are thinking on the team. Let's get it. Every day I dance before the Lord. So I take the name of Jesus like an extension cord. I walk upon a strike as long as my name is in the book of life. Let my light shine.
Let it broadcast worldwide.
I let Jesus be my guide.
Hey, what happened?
Let me live another day. I continue to come to the people and say, stop being selfish, stop saying that, come to God and start winning. I roll with the Lord who is in control. Heaven is my goal, this earth is a first level. I help my fellow man deal with the devil. He's a liar, he's a fraud. His desire is to keep me away from my God. The more people I come off as righteous, but if tempted, I might just do a few of the things that God can't stand crimes on. Every day, I've been reborn, I've been hit with many opportunities. I cannot remain in unity with the Holy Father. Love sounds loud, but it isn't working, Father. I remain devout, but it feels like I'm missing out. Most of the people that I meet who lie, steal and cheat, seem content, while Christians like me, our time is spent struggling. It should be the other way around. I'm not complaining, but I need to tell someone who's living it up to give it up when they're posting high. Doing right is a headache. There's got to be a better road to take. You know, a middle ground between Jesus and Satan. I know who to follow. I'm not debating for what I'm waiting for. Satan is winning the battle, but God is winning the war. Every day I dance before the Lord, so I take it like Jesus like an extension cord. I walk around the stripes as long as my name is in the book of life. So let the light shine, let it broadcast worldwide. I'll let Jesus be my guide, and if he lets me live another day, I'll continue to come to the people and say, stop being selfish, stop sinning in, come to God, and start winning. I roll with the Lord, is in control, in the heaven is my goal, this earth is the first level. I help my fellow man deal with the devil. He's a liar, he's a fraud, his desire is to keep me away from my God. There's a struggle every day to stay on course. I'm behind the enemy line, so I use the word of God as my force, my resource. Becoming immune to the negativity that's around me. The devil has a bounty on my head. Sometimes I dread coming outdoors. I feel like I've been back before, but it's okay. The devil can play his mind game, but he can't hurt me where him. That's mercy. He tries to distract me physically, financially, but these things don't mean jack to me. I turn my back to me. It's not easy. This end man needs to be greedy. So I always want what we can't have. So my girl giving nothing to me, hey, don't make me laugh. A people who have been with the difference is all show. The both of these people take me where I got to go. But if I see those fields, then I'll keep off section. To a house, no election, to be under the direction
I'm a sick demon.
Go in the home, my soul, no thanks. I roll with the Lord who is in control. Every day I dance before the Lord, so I say things like an extension cord. I walk upon the stripes upon my neighbors in the book of life. Let my light shine.
Let it broadcast worldwide.
I let Jesus be my God, and if he let me live another day, I'll continue to come to the people and say, stop being selfish, stop sinning. Come to God and start winning. Minister Brother Derek. Let's get it. Welcome to the Minister Brother Derek Show. And I am Minister Brother Derek. I just want to say that I love Jesus. And that's the title of this song. I love you, Jesus. We'll follow you wherever you lead us. I love you, Jesus. Let the devil deceive us. out. Your body wasn't made to last. When your time comes, it will be reduced to ash. Your flesh will rot, but your life will not. You know your soul will go on forever, so you better realize that you need God, or you will be surprised by the pain of a flame that never goes out. The pits of hell, where the heat swells up, there's no relief, not for a moment of peace. The agony and pride never cease. And someone in the background singing, burn, baby, burn. This isn't normal. Burn, baby, burn. I'm gonna walk in and find you. But certainly, though, this will happen. If Jesus come back and find you now, see, no one knows the time of day. But if you follow
Person, go to the bathroom and wag.
All right, y'all, let's get to the Bible study. The minister, Bubba Dutch. Yo, let's get it. Welcome to the Sunday sermon, everyone.
All right, hold on. We say that for our break.
Bubba Dutch, minister.
Just let me pause it. I don't know what's going on tonight, but I don't know what's going on tonight. But y'all notice whenever we gotta do the sermons, everything go buck wild. Everything seemed to go buck wild. Now I had the screen shared. I go to the bathroom and come back, everything going buck wild. Yeah, going on here. I'm hitting buttons and not doing anything. Share. All right. Nia says she'll be right back. Wait a minute, you don't like my songs? You don't like my songs? I wrote them for y'all. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. I'm sorry. I could do that all day. Let's get to our first topic. I always tell y'all, now what? Why it's not there? There it is. I constantly tell y'all, when you come on the Minister Brother Derek show, whether you in the chat or whether you call in, and we on StreamYards, and as usual, y'all wasting my free 20 hours. Nobody called in. I could be broadcasting in 2K and 5.1 digital audio. Instead, we just doing this whole regular 720 crap. Okay? But we about to get to the sermon. Now, we covered the breaking news. Kenneth Walker spoke out. We've covered that. Now, let's get to, today is Wednesday. It is Bible study day. Let's get to the sermon. We have two topics today. The first topic we have is something that I tell y'all constantly. And if you don't do this, you're not going to survive in this chat. It's not a matter of how many people are in this chat. It's a matter of how many people can survive being in this chat. That's the difference. It ain't how many people here. It's how many have not survived. Why don't they survive? Because we don't allow you to come in here and say, well, I feel. And we don't allow you to come in here and say, well, I think. No. Oh, I feel like it. No, we don't allow that. Why is that not allowed in my chat? Because when you come here, we want to know what you know. When you say, I feel, you put a block up. Because you're saying this is your feelings. And if somebody dares to contradict it, you're going to say, well, it was just my feeling. You don't like, just say you don't like me. Yeah. That's why you say, no. When you say I feel, you put up a wall, and it's hard to attack that. But you got to realize it's your feeling. Your feeling is not shared by everybody else. As the host of this show, I got to take all of the feelings and put them together and make it a fact. And if it's not a fact, then I can't comment on it. Because somebody come in here and say, well, you're talking about it this way, but I see it that way. We got to take all the ways and make them into one. We can't take a little piece. Well, I like this, and I'm going to rock this, and I like that over there. I'm going to rock that. That's only a piece. A piece is not the whole truth. A little piece of the truth is never the whole truth. The I feel don't work. The I feel really started with the women. Don't get mad at me. As y'all started to go to college, as y'all started to enter the workplace, you were afraid to say something outright because you felt that it would get you demoted or you wouldn't get promoted. But saying I feel does exactly what you are trying not to do. If you handling my money in the stock market, I don't want you to talk about your feelings. Now when you're dealing with my money, well, I feel this is a great stock. Well, why is it a great stock? I just got a feeling. Nah, you ain't spending my money on your feeling. You tell me why it's a great stock. Get me motivated to go give you my money. But don't tell me, well, I think that this might be a good stock. You think? You got my money. What do you know is a good stop? When you say I feel and I think, you leave yourself room to wiggle out. Because if somebody tell you you're wrong, you can get defensive and say, well, it was just a feeling, You ain't got to get all mad. See, I knew you didn't like me. All I did was just tell you how I felt about something, and you just all over me. Well, I said I think it. I thought that it was right. Apparently it wasn't, but you ain't got to get all snooty. You ain't got to try and embarrass me. See, you can get defensive behind it and then try to project something else. Oh, you just never liked me. You just looking for a reason to get me. That's why you should never say, I think or I feel. Because in this world, this cold, cruel world, nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what you feel. People care about what you know. If we're going to have a picnic today, and I say, have you watched the weather report yet? No, I didn't. But I feel it ain't going to rain today. And we go out there and it rain all over our heads. I don't think it's going to rain today. I don't feel it's going to rain today. Did you watch the weather? Did you check the weather report? Do you know it's not going to rain today? You check the weather report, you can say, well, between 1 and 3, it's going to rain. Okay, so we can't have a picnic between 1 and 3. Maybe we'll do it at 5. See, when you have knowledge, you can make plans. When you say, I think, that's not knowledge. That's taking a guess. And then important things like handling somebody's money, somebody making a choice of what school they're going to go to, what college fee, spend all that money. Somebody deciding on buying a house. When you think you like it now, but then you find out it ain't got no pool because you didn't look. And now you don't want it, but you ain't already bought it now. What you going to do? You going to sell it out? Like still paying for it and buy another one? All because, you thought it was what you wanted, but you didn't check it out. Well, I feel, this could be right for us, but you didn't check it out. So you should always go with, I know. You should never be satisfied with an I feel. I feel that all the little girls at the recital should get some kind of certificate they participated in. Well, what about the young girl that worked hard and she do the full recital and the other kids is sitting there, can't even play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? How do you think the girl that worked hard and came and performed everything that was asked for her, she get the same thing as somebody who came there and did nothing, and did nothing? But I feel that the other girls' feelings should be hurt. Their feelings would be hurt if they don't get nothing. They didn't try. They shouldn't get nothing. If they wanted to get some kind of certificate, they would try to get it. They didn't try. You say you feel that they're going to feel bad. I'm telling you, they don't give a darn. They didn't try. I'm telling you what I know. You telling me what you feel. I should be able to go in the ring with the boxing heavyweight champion of the world going there. I ain't trained. I ain't in shape. I ain't got a pacemaker. I got a pacemaker, but I'm going to go in there with the world champion. And when he knocked me out, which he probably will, I should get the belt anyway. Well, I feel he took the chance and went in there. He didn't even going to leave, but he went in there. He tried hard. He did the best he could. Give him the belt. See, you feel I should get the belt. You think that I had the cojones to go in there with the world champion and get beat up, so I deserve the belt. No, I don't. I didn't train. I didn't get myself in the best kind of condition. If I did, I would have won. That's something I know. But you're going to tell me what you feel. You're going to say what you think. So if they give me the belt and I go around saying I'm the world champion, that devalues the belt. Because who wants to work? Who going to go train? Who going to do the 5 mile a day road work? Who going to spend the hours in the gym working on a body bag and working on your foot, how you hold your feet and how you move around the ring? Who's going to do that? That's what makes the championship something special. You have to do a lot of work to get it. If we just give it to everybody to ask for it, it ain't worth nothing. But see, you feel you shouldn't have to train. I think I shouldn't have to go work out in the body bag. I feel I don't need no sparring partners. And then you go in there and get knocked out. The same way, if y'all remember the corner, when DeAndre and his drug buddies made that little basketball team, what did they call it? The whatever that gang was from New York. They called themselves, everybody kept saying, you from Baltimore, why are you calling yourself something from California? But here nor there. They had a coach. The man wanted to train them. He had them doing a little, program where you pass the ball and when you go in line and you do layups and stuff like that. Teaching them how to work together. They said, man, this stuff whack. And they got rid of the coach. They went to that first game. They wasn't going to let them play because they ain't had no coach. So one of the boys had to be the coach, right? So now they're down a player. But when they got in there, they saw the boys they were going to play do the drills that the man was trying to tell them, but they felt they didn't need it. I feel we don't need this. I think that we good enough. And they got their butts kicked because they dealt with the feel. They dealt with the think. But deep down, they know they needed to train. They just didn't want to do it. They felt they didn't have to do it. And that's why they got whooped. And then they got into a fight. And then they got thrown out. And they had to pay money for cussing. For cussing at the referees. Why? Because you're getting your butt kicked. But see, why you mad? You doing what you feel. You doing what you think you should be able to do. So go out there and win. But you ain't done what you're supposed to do to win. But yet you feel you should be able to win. It's just like, how many videos do we watch where we see somebody attack somebody else, knowing they can't fight a lick. But in the moment, they felt it was the right thing to do to hit somebody. And guess what? Yeah, they got the bucket. But in their mind, they thought they could take somebody. You got to learn the difference between feel and I think and I know. Somebody could say, I feel the moon won't come out tonight. Somebody that actually know about astrology would say, the clouds are going to block the moon. You won't see it tonight. No, it ain't. I feel It's going to come. I think it's going to come. So let's go outside and watch the moonlight. And we go outside, ain't nothing but the damn clouds out there. But you know, that person felt the moon was coming up. Even though somebody who knew told them the truth, they wanted to go with they thought. Let's get to our first article here. And let's see if they match up with what I say. Stop saying I feel like. Hey, what are you doing? I don't know what's going on with the internet today. We having a even on the articles. All right. It done went back up the top. All right. Stop saying I feel like. Really? Relax. In American politics, few forces are more powerful than a voter's vague intuition. I support Donald Trump because I feel like he is a doer. A senior at the University of South Carolina told Cosmopolitan. Personally, I feel like Bernie Sanders is too idealistic. A Yale student explained to a reporter in Florida at a Ted Cruz rally in Wisconsin. In April, a Cruz fan declared, I feel like I can trust that he will keep his promises. These people don't think, believe, or reckon. They feel like. Listen for this phrase and you'll hear it everywhere, inside and outside politics. This reflex to hedge every statement as a feeling or a hunch is most common among millennials, but I hear it almost as often among Generation Xers and my own colleagues in academia. As in so many things, the young are the earlier carriers of a broad cultural contagion. The imperfect data that linguists have collected indicates that I feel like became more common toward the end of the last century. In North America English, it seems to become a synonym for I think or I believe. Only in the last decade or so, languages constantly evolve, and curmudgeons like me are always taking umbrage at some new idiom. But make no mistake, I feel like it's not a harmless tick. George Orwell put it simply, if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. The phrase says a great deal about our model ideas, about reason, emotion, and argument. A muddle that has political consequences. Natasha Pagancar, a senior at Williams College, hears, I feel like in the classroom on a daily basis, he says. When you use the phrase, I feel like, it gives you an out. Oh, I said that. It gives you an out. You're not stating a fact so as much as giving an opinion, she told me. It's an effort to make our ideas more palatable to the other person. I don't understand what's going on with the internet today. The data suggests that young women use the phrase slightly more often than men. But in my own classes, male students begin almost every statement with, I feel like. The gender gap is vanishing because the cultural roots of this linguistic shift were never primarily a consequence of gender. Today's college students have come of age and a time of growing diversity and political polarization. No one could blame them for wanting to back away from confrontation. My generation, because we have more exposure to other people's perspectives. Come on, man. Anyone now with the internet connection can post whatever they want online. In some ways, we're probably more empathetic than the generations who came before us, Ms. Payne Gawker said. Yet all this equivocating has started to bother him, and now she avoids using the phrase. Jing Cha, a senior at the University of Chicago, said, I've tried to check myself when I say that. I think it probably demeans the substance of what I'm trying to say. The linguistic hedging is particularly common at universities where calls for trigger warnings and safe places may have eroded students' inclination to assert or argue. It's safer to merely feel. Bradley Campbell, a sociologist at California State University, Los Angeles, was author of an article about the shift on many campuses from a culture of dignity which celebrates free speech to a culture of victimhood marked by the assumption that people are so fragile that they hear something offensive, he told me. Yet here's the paradox. I feel like masquerades as a humble conversational offering, an invitation to share your feelings too. But the phrase is an absolutist trump card. It halts arguments in its tracks. When people cite feelings or personal experience, you can't really refute them with logic because that would imply they didn't have that experience or that experience is less valid. Say that again. When people cite feelings or personal experience, you can't really refute them with logic because that would imply they didn't have that experience or their experience is less valid. It's a way of deflecting, avoiding full, it's a way of deflecting, avoiding full engagement with another person or group. Elizabeth Lotz Quinn, a historian at Syracuse University, said, because it puts up a shield immediately, you cannot disagree. Democracy is premised on a civilized conflict. The greatest advantage of the modern age has been our ability to argue about our society's most pressing questions without resorting to physical violence most of the time. Yet the growing tyranny of feelings in the way Americans talk about everything, from how to fund public education to which presidential candidates to support, exerts a subtle kind of coercion on the public sphere. The problem here is not the open discussion of emotions. Ancient philosophers ranging from Confucius to the Greek Stoics acknowledged the role that emotion plays in human reasoning. In the 1990s, after many years of studying patients with brain damage, the neuroscientist Antonio Damasio put forward a hypothesis that is now widely accepted. In a healthy brain, emotional input is a crucial art of reasoning and decision making. So when I called Dr. Mazio, who teaches at the University of Southern California, I was worried that he might strike down my human observations with unflinching scientific objectivity. He didn't. He hates the phrase as much as I do. He called it bad usage and a sign of laziness in thinking. Not because it acknowledges the presence of emotion, because it is an imprecise hedge that conceals more than it reveals. It doesn't follow that because you have doubts or because something is tempered by gut feeling that you cannot make those distinctions as clear as possible, he said. This is what's most disturbing about what I feel like. The phrase cripples our range of expression and flattens the complex role that emotions do play in our reasoning. It turns emotion into a cudgel that smashes the distinction. And even in our relativistic age, there remains a distinction between evidence out there in the world and internal sentiments known only to us. What? This is speculative. Hey, I'm having a time here. This is speculative, but I feel like fits with this general relativism run rampant, Sally McGonigal said, a linguist at Cornell suggested. There are different perspectives, but it doesn't mean there are not some facts on the ground and things anchoring us. For decades, Americans have been in the process of abandoning both the moral structures of religion and the Enlightenment quest for universal truth in favor of obsessing over their own internal states and well-being. In 1974, the sociologist Richard Sennett worried that the more a person concentrates on feeling genuinely rather on the objective content of what is felt, the more subjectivity becomes to an end itself, the less expressive he can be. The quest to understand and cope with our own feelings and desires, the current term of art is self-care, can lead to what the writer Christopher Lasch called pseudo-self-awareness. It leaves us too preoccupied with personal satisfaction to see the world clearly. The new narcissist is haunted not by guilt but by anxiety. Mr. Lasch wrote this 1979 book, The Culture of Narcissism. He seeks not to inflict his own certainties on others, but to find a meaning in life. In a 2001 book, Race Experts, Dr. Lois Quinn, who is Christopher Losch's daughter, argued that the vogue for therapeutic self-help has steered the American left off course, encouraging well-meaning activists to push for sensitivity training seminars instead of real gains in racial and economic equality. The phrase "I feel like" is a mundane extension of this pattern, a means of avoiding rigorous debate over structures of society that are hard to change. If our students have any hope of solving the problems for which trigger warnings and safe spaces are mere band-aids, they must reject this woolly way of speaking their minds. Cultivating the art of conversation goes a long way toward correcting these things, Dr. Lois Quinn says. Instead of caricaturing someone who says, "I feel like," we can say, "What does it mean to say that?" instead of "I think." The more common "I feel like" becomes, the less important we may attach to its literal meaning. I feel like emotions have long since been mostly bleached out of "feel that," said Mark Lieberman, a linguist at the University of Pennsylvania. But when the new verbal vices become old habits, their power to shape our thoughts is not diminished. We should not feel like. We should argue rationally, feel deeply, and take full responsibility for our interactions with the world. Maybe I should start reading these ahead of time. Let me check the chat and we'll get to the next one. Anybody still here? Did they run everybody off? Ain't nobody said nothing, but they still here. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Man, I don't know what's wrong with the end of the day, but you knew it was going to be something. All right. Want to be an effective leader. Stop saying "I feel like." Let me blow this up some. One more time. All right. Clear communication is all we want in the workplace. It's what leads to successful emails, effective feedback, and productive meetings, all of which are pretty great things. Wait a minute. Is that part of this article or is it something different? Anyway. I think it's part of the article. I told you I don't read these. Where'd it go? I feel like we should cancel our Wednesday night. I'm sorry. I feel like we should cancel our Wednesday meetings so we can have more time to focus, on our individual products. I feel like you'd be more successful if you learn how to better manage your time. Come on, man. Come back. I feel like we need more snacks in our office. All right, I'm tired of fooling with that. Let's keep going. Come on. But clear communication can't happen until everyone removes this 3-word phrase that's getting in the way. I feel like. Because according to Molly Worthen, author of a New York Times article on this topic, the phrase is the absolutist trump card. It halts arguments in its track. Elizabeth Lash-Quinn, a historian at Syracuse University, who's quoted in the article, adds that the phrase is a way of deflecting, avoiding full engagement with another person or group. Here's the problem, as explained by Worthen, saying, I feel like makes it practically impossible to have a productive conversation with others. Let's say your boss calls a meeting. Let's say your boss calls a meeting to discuss your team's performance with the intention of addressing the areas that need importance. Everyone's welcome to share what didn't work and brainstorm possible reasons why. If everyone feels like it didn't work for one reason or another, where will the responsibility be for fixing those problems actually go? Take these 2 sentences into consideration. I feel like we should cancel our Wednesday meeting so we have more time to focus on our individual products. I feel, hold on. We should cancel our Wednesday meeting so we have more time to focus on individual products. So the first one says, I feel like we should cancel our Wednesday meetings. The other one says we should cancel our Wednesday meetings. The first one might result in people nodding their head because they might also feel that way. The second, on the other hand, makes a statement that others have to either agree with or disagree with, which will lead to a faster decision. Not to mention, it also sounds more confident, which is key for getting ahead at work. So how can you get, wait a minute, hold on. So we do need to read that. Come back. So how can you get rid of this credibility killer? Simply replace it with I know or remove it altogether. So how can you get rid of this credibility killer? Replace it with I know or remove it altogether. So how can you get, it's right there. And look, it's okay if you're afraid of communicating more directly. That often comes with speaking up, but it's also what you were hired to do. Confidently share your ideas. Even if people disagree, you'll get to the final decision faster. But I feel like that's easier said than done. See what I did there? So make it a goal to start slowly. Trust me, it'll make your life easier. Plus, just as Molly Worthen says in her article, we should not feel like. We should argue rationally, feel deeply, and take full responsibility for our interactions with the world. Come on, man. Wait a minute. Did you go too far? Was that it? Yeah, that was it. That was short. All right, good. Do we have any comments? What the hell is that? Oh, Lord. Davey got it. Okay. Why are you dropping, Davey? Hold on a second. All right, we'll be ready this time. Okay. We'll be ready this time. All right, sorry about that, y'all. All right, I can't believe we're going back to see superstar Billy Graham. Can y'all see it? Naya said listening. All right, let's get to our next story. I'm sorry, y'all. We have a problem. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. What is the rapture? There are many Christians who believe that the second coming of Jesus Christ will be in two phases. First, he will come for the believers, both living and dead, in the rapture. Read 1 Thessalonians 4:13-7. In this view, the rapture, which is the transformation and catching up of all Christians, dead or alive, to meet Christ in the air, will be secret, for it will be unknown to the world of unbelievers at the time of its happening. The effect of this removal and the absence of multitudes of people will, of course, be evident on the earth. Then second, after a period of 7 years of tribulation on earth, Christ will return to the earth with his church, the saints who were raptured. Matthew 24:30, 2 Thessalonians 1:7, 1 Peter 1:13, Revelations 1:7. He'll be victorious over his enemies and will reign in the church for 1,000 years, the millennium, with his saints, the church. After 1,000 years, living believers and the wicked dead, now raised to life, will be judged at the great white throne judgment. They will then be cast into the lake of fire, while the saved will live forever with Christ in a new heaven and earth. Revelation chapters 19-22. Many other evangelical Christians believe that Christ's return and the rapture will not occur until the 7th year of the tribulation have ended. As far as the latter view is concerned, the rapture will not be secret, since it will be part of Christ's visible and triumphant return to end this present evil age. 1 Thessalonians 43:13-17. At this point, interpreters differ as to whether there will be a literal 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth, or whether the white throne judgment and the new heaven and earth will immediately appear. All Christians do not agree on everyday detail of what will occur in the final events of this world's history. Some of these events in that order of occurrence have simply not been made clear in the Bible. What's important is that all Christians hold in common that Christ will ultimately return bodily, visibly, and gloriously to reign forever and ever. The details of this great event will be made known in God's own time. Let me go ahead and set up the next one, because I want to talk about that for a minute. Come on, man. I want to get this mess out of here. So there ain't no way to get rid of this. You know what? I'm going to say the heck away because I already read 2 articles on it. You just not going to get rid of it, huh? I don't want this. All right, I'm gone. I'm gone. I ain't going to play with you. All righty then. We're going to leave that alone. All right, let's come back. Let's pull the chat up. All righty, where's everybody? All righty. I want to ask y'all opinion. Because this something, and I'm thinking about doing a follow-up on Saturday. What do you believe is going to happen with the rapture? I've been taught 2 ways of thinking. And we're going to get into that Saturday. 2 ways of thinking. Now, at first I was told that Jesus was going to come back. He was going to pick up his followers and take them out the way. Then the 7 bowls of judgment, or the 7 years of tribulation, will occur. Then Jesus will come back. And this is where I get turned around between being with so many religions. Now, some say that Jesus will reign 1,000 years. But will the people that he took up, will they come back down and live on the earth? Because Revelation says that the devil will be put chained up and he'll be thrown into a dungeon for 1,000 years while Jesus rules. Then it says he will come back. He's going to come back. They're going to let the devil come out and the devil get to trick the people again. And then it's a final battle. Now, here's my conflict. Does the battle, when he takes everybody up, when he comes back down, will those be the people, will everybody that's left, will they be killed in the battle, the first battle? And then the people that actually made it, are they coming back down? And then is the devil going to be sick on them? And then it's another battle. And then the devil get thrown in the furnace. And then everybody get called up and get judged. And then is it a new heaven and a new earth? Or is it going to be a new heaven and a new earth when Jesus comes the first time and does the rapture? And then the 7 bowls are poured out. And the devil was defeated, the beast, the Antichrist. The devil get locked up. Are those people going to come back down with him that he took up? And is that going to be the new earth and the new heaven? And then the devil get to come back and try to trick as many people as he can? And then it be another battle. And then this time the devil get thrown in the furnace. And then everybody line up. Anybody have any idea? Hello. Does anybody have any comment? Anybody? Anybody? Where you at, Tony? So this is why we're going to save this until Saturday, and we'll do a whole show on it. Because I'm still wondering, is it like one time? Or is it he's going to come down? He's going to take all his people up. The 7 years of the tribulation. Then he's going to come back. Is he going to bring the people down? Are there going to be people left over from that didn't get taken? Well, they were given a chance to be taught to. Those who don't die from the 7 plagues over the 7 years. Will some of them be allowed to stay? Will it be a new earth and will it be a new earth then? Or a different earth? We're going to cover that. We're going to cover that. So we're looking for that Saturday, y'all. We're definitely going to do a part 2 on that. All right. Oh, I got to bring it back. There we go. All right, drop that link. We just lost somebody. I don't know what's going on today. But I might just say this for tomorrow.
Evicted from their homes, they can't pay the rent. Many Americans are waiting in food lines for the first time in their lives. Can you look them in the eye, Madam Speaker, and explain why you don't want to accept the president's latest stimulus offer?
Well, because, thank you very much, Wolf, and I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans about why they don't really want to meet the needs of the American people. But let me say to those people, because all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal. So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs? Why don't they accept ours? Our legislation is there to do 3 things primarily: to honor our workers, honor our heroes, our healthcare workers, our police and fire first responders, our teachers, our transportation, sanitation, food workers, the people who make our lives work. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without them. Many of them have risked their lives so that they had to save lives, and now they will lose their jobs because the states go bankrupt.
Excuse me for interrupting,
the states go bankrupt.
Madam Speaker, but they really need the money right now, and even members of your own, but even members of your own caucus, even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. Well, let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat. And he just said this. He said, people in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal. Put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist. And many of your colleagues, apologists for the Republican position. Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do. And nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now, because people need help now. But it's no use giving them a false thing just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail, that we should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table, to enhance benefits, that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local, we're talking about the consequences of a pandemic, the symptoms of a problem that the president refuses to address.
But you know,
and that is the coronavirus.
We know
that is
we
the
know
coronavirus.
the problem out there, but there are millions of Americans who have lost their jobs. They can't pay the rent. Their kids need the food.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to get done.
$1.8 trillion, and the president just tweeted, stimulus, go big or go home. He wants even more right now, so why not work out a deal with him, and don't let the perfect, as they say here in Washington, be the enemy of the good.
Well, I will not let the wrong be the enemy of the good.
What's wrong with $1.8 trillion?
You know what? Do you have any idea what the difference is between the spending that they have in their bill and that we have in our bill? Do you realize that they have come back and said all these things for child tax credits and earned income tax credits, or helping people who have lost their jobs, are eliminated in their bill? Do you realize they pay no respect to the fact that child care is very important for people whose children cannot go to school because they're doing remote learning, and yet they minimize the need for child care, which is the threshold with which people, mothers and fathers, can go to work if they have that? Do you have any idea of how
that's precisely why
they're concerned?
That's why it's so important right now. Yesterday I spoke to Andrew Yang, who says the same thing. It's not everything you want,
but you know what?
There's a lot there.
Honest to God, you really, I can't get over it, because Andrew Yang, he's lovely. Ro Khanna, he's lovely. They are not negotiating this situation. They have no idea of the particulars. They have no idea of what the language is here. I didn't come over here to have, so you're the apologist for the Obama, excuse me, God forbid.
Madam Speaker, I'm not an apologist. I'm asking you serious questions because so many people are in desperate need right now. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
When was the last time?
Let me respond to you.
Let me ask you, when was the last time, Madam Speaker, when was the last time you spoke with the president about this?
I don't speak to the president. Speak
Why
to
not? Why
his
not
representative.
Why not call him and say, Mr. President, let's work out a deal. It's not going to be everything you want, not going to be everything I want, but there are so many Americans right now who are in desperate need. Let's make a deal.
What makes me amused, if it weren't so sad, is how you all think that you know more about the suffering of the American people than those of us who are elected by them to represent them at that table. It is unfortunate that we do not have shared values with this White House, and that they have in their bill, why don't you talk about in their bill, a tax break for the wealthiest families in the country, while they cut out the earned income tax credit for the poorest families in our country and the poorest children in our country. That we have to fight with them to get them to address the coronavirus crisis, because they had said it was a hoax, it was magical, it was a miracle, it was going to cure it. It hasn't. And that's why we find ourselves in this situation. I feel very confident about the knowledge that I bring to this, but more importantly, the knowledge that our chairs of jurisdiction, science-based, academically documented, institutionally suggested in terms of what the cost would be to do it, and to do it that way. And about we talk about child care, yes. We're talking about safety in the workplace. Safety in the workplace. That's a very important issue, especially in the time of the pandemic. So what I say to those people is, we're going to get a deal. And when we do, it will be retroactive. It will be retroactive.
Here's what you wrote in a letter to House Democrats, Madam Speaker. And I ask these questions only, as you know, so many millions of Americans are suffering right now.
Well, you quote two people who know nothing about the agreement. Well, there is no agreement. But what the suggestions are, as if there's some authority on the subject. Please give equal weight to all of the chairmen on the committee who have written this bill.
But so many of your fellow Democrats in the House, they want a deal right now. The problem solvers, they all want a deal right now. Yeah. And here's what they're complaining about, because you wrote a letter to House Democrats and you said this. Let me read a line from the letter you wrote. The president only wants his name on a check to go out before election day and for the market to go up. Is that what this is all about? Not allow the president to take credit if there's a deal that will help millions of Americans right now?
He's not that important. But let me say this. With all due respect, and you know we've known each other a long time, you really don't know what you're talking about. If the plural of anecdote is not data. Yes, there's some people who said this or that. Overwhelmingly, my caucus wants what is right for the American people. Overwhelmingly, our chairman who wrote the bill, read their statements. They all put out their own statements when they saw what the White House was proposing. So do a service to the issue and have some level of respect for the people who have worked on these issues, written the bill to begin with. Now, let me just say this in terms of the numbers. I want people to do the math. We had 3.4, which would meet the needs of the American people for a sustained period of time, so that there was some certainty in what would happen. The Republicans said no, well, so we took it down $1 trillion by cutting the time. We took it down another $2 billion. So we're now $1.200 billion down. We came down to 2.2. At the same time, since tomorrow will be 5 months since we passed the bill, at the same time, because there was no resolution, Mitch McConnell said, let's pause. The virus didn't pause, and now we're at a place where we need more money. We need more money for PPP, for our small businesses. We need more money for our airlines. We need more money for our schools. So we have absorbed nearly $500 billion more of expenses still within the
I understand all of that, and I have only the greatest respect for you.
So do the math.
Madam Speaker, I have only the greatest respect for you. I just want to point out, $1.8 trillion. $1.8 trillion is a lot of money. The American people need that money ASAP because they're suffering right now. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying...
And you don't care how it's spent.
I care, of course, how it's spent. But what I don't understand is why not talk to the president personally, call him up and say, Mr. President, let's get a deal tomorrow.
Look, let me say this. The president has sent Mr. Mnuchin to negotiate. That's what we've done with other presidents. This isn't unusual. With President Bush, we did this quite a bit because that's how you negotiate. And then you take it to the president. This Mr. Mnuchin, I think he has integrity representing his position. May I finish, please? But he has integrity representing his position, but his position has no integrity. They do not share our values. Have a little respect for the fact that we know something about these subjects. And there's a big difference between Democrats and Republicans and whether they want to give a big tax cut to the wealthiest people in the country in their bill, in the CARES Act. We tried to take it out in this bill. Instead, they took out earned income tax credit, child tax credit, expanded health benefits to UI benefits to the extent that it was agreed to before.
Right.
So this is, I have every confidence in what and the arguments that we make because it's based on science and documentation. Our chairs know their stuff. They know what they're doing, with all due respect to the kind of people you were referencing. And I welcome their enthusiasm. I welcome their interest. I welcome their originality of their thinking. But the fact is, we have a responsibility to meet the needs of the American people in a retroactive way, so they're not at a total loss. They are at a loss because the president has ignored the virus. I wish he would spend time on the fact that if he had not ignored the virus, we wouldn't be in the position we're in, but we are. And let me say about that also, I hope that I'm pleased that these pharmaceutical companies are taking the responsible position to halt and hopefully then resume because we want the public to have confidence in whatever therapies or whatever vaccines come along, that they will take them.
Right.
And to people who say, well, I don't trust Trump on that, if we trust the Food and Drug Administration for what they're doing, the scientists there who've been working 24/7 for months and months and months, excellent science. The science should call the shot, and when they do, we should all trust it.
And let's hope they get more treatments. Let's hope they get a vaccine. And Madam Speaker, I certainly respect you, but I also respect Ro Khanna. I respect Andrew Yang. I respect members of the Democrats who are members of the problem solvers. They want a deal because so many people right now
Well,
are
the problem
suffering.
solvers, by the way, don't have any earned income tax credit or child tax credit in their proposal either. But let's not go into that. You evidently do not respect the chairman of the committees who wrote these bills.
I respect
And I
all of
wish
you.
you would respect the knowledge that goes into getting meeting the needs of the American people. But again, you've been on JAG defending the administration all this time with no knowledge of the difference between our two bills. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that to you in person.
Madam Speaker, these are incredibly difficult times right now, and we'll leave it on that note. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll leave it on the vote that you are not right on this, Wolf, and I'd hate to say that to you. But I feel confident about it, and I feel confident about my colleagues, and I feel confidence in my chairs.
It's not about me. It's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent.
And we represent them. And we represent them.
Getting
And
by
we represent
these
them.
long food
And we
lines that we're
represent
seeing.
them.
I know
we
you
know
are.
them.
I'm just saying,
We represent them and we know them.
as we
We
say,
know them. We represent them.
don't let the
Yes.
perfect be the enemy of the good, as they say.
It is
here in
nowhere
Washington.
near perfect.
Madam Speaker.
Always the
If
case,
y'all don't
but we're
vote
not
this
even
woman out of
close to the
office, I don't know what to tell you. She is delusional. She is friggin' delusional. She is the holdup. I'm sorry, Nancy. You are delusional.
Okay, Lulu, you said it. But as I said,
I would just give her what I want, what she wants. She just shut up. I'm telling the truth.
Stimulus check update. And Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House and the leader of the Democrats, thinks that she has leverage over the White House and thinks she actually might get the entire $2.2 trillion package agreed on by the White House before the election. And I'm going to go over some details and some misconceptions on how the stimulus check is actually larger for some, but maybe not for others, and the potential tax credits that you may or may not receive, which could actually mean thousands of dollars more in your pocket. I'm going to go over those details in this video. But first, if you can, give this video a like down below. It really helps out our channel. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. My wife and I do all the research for you on the stimulus checks, the elections, and the virus and related news. And we bring you all the information in a quick, concise video. Okay, first up, Nancy Pelosi citing leverage over President Donald Trump, holds strong to her $2.2 trillion price tag in the stimulus check negotiations. As you can see here, Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Tuesday shot down entreaties from some Democrats to cut a $1.8 trillion deal with the White House on the new stimulus package agreements, arguing that President Donald Trump's pleas to Congress and also to go big in his newest tweet have given her leverage to hold out for more aid. Nancy Pelosi says, quote, "I appreciate the, shall we say, a couple people saying, take it, take it, take it." Nancy Pelosi said in a phone call with Democrats, according to a source on the call. She says, take it, take it. Even the president is saying, go big or go home. This gives you a line into her thinking on the actual stimulus check negotiations. And at this point, I firmly kind of think that Nancy Pelosi is the only person holding us up from a stimulus check, a stimulus package, an unemployment check, money for rental assistance and mortgage assistance. I think she's possibly the only person in the United States. Now, I could also say that Republican senators are also possibly in that list, but that still is yet to be determined if they can come to an agreement and pass a bill. We need 13 Republican senators to pass any bill in the Senate, along with all the Democrats. But the White House has said here over the last couple of days, multiple times from actually different sources in the White House, that they will have enough Republican senators to pass a bill in the Senate, at least 13 of them, which is about 25% of Republican senators. The White House says there will be enough. So if
Where is the money? Where's the money? Where is our stimulus money?
True, if that will be true, when we see an agreement, Nancy Pelosi is probably the only person in the United States right now that is holding us up from getting another stimulus check, stimulus package, and everything that goes in it. I know. You can say it. I get you. Hopefully she doesn't haunt me again and knock down the Thor's hammer. If you didn't see my previous video, that Thor's hammer literally fell down in the middle of my video while I was reading a quote from Nancy Pelosi's press release. And it was just like, boom. And I had a couple comments from some of you guys saying it looks like it was pushed. And maybe Nancy Pelosi's haunting. Maybe she's haunting you guys too. I'm sure I'll get at least a bunch of you guys saying Nancy Pelosi is haunting the American people. Let's just pass this bill. Let's get some stimulus out to Americans. There's people hurting. Lots of people hurting. People need money. They need help. They're losing their jobs from this pandemic. Food prices are going up. Let's get some stimulus out now, and then after the election, we can work on getting out more. I mean, they've already passed 4 stimulus packages, but only one of them included a check. And only one of them actually included an unemployment extension update. Also, the second one came from the president's presidential executive order. So honestly, Congress needs to pass another deal to get us through the next 30 or 60 days. And then if we're still in this predicament, let's pass another one. Now, the interesting thing is going forward, we could have a completely different situation because the Senate is narrowly held by Republicans, but remember they have that filibuster rule in the Senate where you need 60% of senators to vote. But just by switching a few seats, I think it's like 4 or 5 seats in the Senate, the Democrats could actually take control of the Senate and at least have a narrow...
You put me to sleep. You put me to sleep, sir. 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 Put me to sleep, sir. Sir. Sir.
New tonight, saving the Strip. Metro Police is pushing to try to keep violent crime from taking over the Strip.
1013 Action News anchor Jackie Kosick now joins us live to explain with what exactly is changing here. Jackie, a lot of people paying attention to this one.
Absolutely. Tricia and Tom, leaders across the city say that tackling this issue of violence is imperative to our city's ability to bounce back during and after this pandemic, because we all know just how important the Las Vegas Strip is to our economy. The Las Vegas Strip is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world and the economic lifeline of the city. Now it's facing down 2 opponents at once: COVID-19 and violence.
This has been something that's unprecedented, and it's something that I didn't think that I would ever see in my lifetime.
Larry Hadfield with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department says the months-long shutdown of the Strip set up a recovery process leaders are still figuring out.
You have the hotels opening, and you're drawing these crowds of folks that have been cooped up in different states.
Hadfield says tighter restrictions in California have drawn a different crowd, in some cases including gangs. That, Hadfield says, has led to scenes like this playing out in and out of properties up and down the Strip. Videos of fights have become more and more common on social media. One of those fights happening on Labor Day weekend in the lobby of the Encore. Aggravated assaults are up 5% in the city as a whole and 36% on the Strip. That's compared to this time last year.
Do we like that? Absolutely not. Do we tolerate it? No.
Todd Fasulo is the VP of Security at the Wynn. He says that fight not only led to the company filing a lawsuit, but a series of new security protocols. Those include a weapons and bag search at the door on weekends and additional Wynn and Metro officers on the floor.
We thought that it would be important that our guests felt when the minute they walked through this door right here, for example, that they felt that they were being kept safe and secure while they enjoyed the inside of the hotel.
The idea is a good guest experience means guests will keep coming back, something Las Vegas desperately needs. The Wynn now says Encore will only be open 4 nights a week because of low demand. Fusillo says while the virus poses a less predictable threat to Las Vegas, resort security teams and Metro know how to go on the offensive when it comes to crime.
Just in my interaction with Metro over the last 30 to 60 days, they've really pulled out the stopgaps to assist the hotel industry, and the presence on the Strip is like no other.
That presence like no other is a tactic Metro calls Operation Persistent Pressure. The new endeavor has Metro shifting resources to the Strip on Friday and Saturday night, adding up to as many as 100 officers.
We have our officers out there looking into those crowds, looking for the potential troublemakers out there.
Last weekend alone, officers made 700 stops and arrested 85 people.
Dang.
Hadfield stresses this is not profiling and says stop and frisk doesn't exist. Officers need to have probable cause, reasonable suspicion, or make a consensual stop.
People that think that they're getting picked on, I would say this: look at your behavior before you start picking on the police as far as why are they looking at me? Look at what you're doing. And if those individuals that are complaining are the ones that are in the fights, the ones that are in these, type of disturbances where shootings are occurring, that's exactly where the police need to be. It's not for the folks just out there walking around having a good time. It's for those individuals who are out there causing the problems.
Now, Metro and these resort security teams are really working in concert to tackle this issue of violence. And Todd Fusillo told me that between county, resort, and Metro surveillance cameras on the Strip, there's really nowhere you can go up and down the Strip without being seen and possibly tracked. Reporting live, Jackie Kostek, 13 Action News.
She said, Crackson. Nancy Pelosi. Where's my money, broad?
Two men face new charges accused of looting back in May. The Multnomah County District Attorney says Richard Kavanaugh and Shane Anderson were looting the footwear and pop culture store called Bait. It's on Northwest Broadway. The new charges come just 2 days after one of the most violent nights we've seen yet. Wayne Haverly talked to people downtown today who want to see an end to the unrest. Wayne.
Yeah, business owners and residents down here, they tell me they're not only exhausted, but they feel like the city, even its own history, is being attacked right now, and they want these nightly protests to stop. They say it's time that happens because of what's happening now. Most folks downtown, they still support the message of Black Lives Matter and the racial equality message, but they say that original message, it's been hijacked now by criminals, and now lives are being put at risk. The riot downtown that erupted Sunday night not only toppled historic statues of Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, the Oregon Historical Society was targeted, windows smashed, a few artifacts taken, even flares were tossed inside in an attempt to burn down that building. Nearby businesses also had their windows broken, and the owner of a nearby deli says bullets shattered his windows, and he showed us where those bullets are still lodged in the walls inside his restaurant. John Jackson was a soldier in Desert Storm and saw plenty of action there, but never thought he'd see this kind of violence in the Rose City.
It's the strangest thing, to be quite honest. I didn't think about places, Portland, I've been there about 10 years, but, I could never have imagined that we'd be where we are today in Portland.
Downtown residents share those concerns. One man also owns a business downtown, and he told us today the reason people protest is to get people in power to sit down and negotiate. He wishes the mayor would do more to end the nightly protest. The mayor tells Coin 6 he's committed to doing what it takes to make people downtown feel safe while still listening to those fighting against racism and social inequality. However, downtown tonight, the overall feeling that you really get is sadness. However, we've talked to a lot of people who are very dedicated to this town, to the city, to the downtown core, and they are still very hopeful that things are going to get better soon. Back to you.
Prime Day is October.
Customers on the subway 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. since May to allow for the MTA's deep cleaning plan. Some new bus routes have been created to run overnight. Metro North and LIRR schedules have been adjusted.
Now that the trains have kind of shut down, we really have to rely on the buses, and then the buses are overcrowded and they're late. So that just makes the whole world just kind of stop at this point.
Ridership on the subway is down about 65 to 70%. That leaves a hole in the MTA budget. Service cuts as high as 40% have been suggested and will be discussed in the next few months. For officials, a lot depends on if there's more federal stimulus money.
If we don't get that federal support soon, we're not going to be able to provide the basic services as a city. We're not going to be able to give people what they need to be able to restart their businesses.
Every year around this time, the New York State Comptroller issues an annual report on MTA finances. This one is titled Worst Financial Crisis in History. New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli echoes what transit officials have said. Federal funding is essential. The MTA request from earlier this summer, $12 billion to get through 2021. The MTA has previously received $4 billion in federal funds.
If the MTA does not receive additional federal funding, there are no good options left. Drastic service reductions, increases in fares and tolls, well beyond what is already planned. It would mark the end of regional public transit as we have known it.
The discussion and the disagreement in Washington continues to be about the help and the aid for city and state governments. The comptroller says the MTA could always look at debt, but that makes it so much worse when it comes to the budget. The MTA will be having meetings this month talking about schedule changes as the year progresses. In Harlem, Greg Mocker, Pix 11 News.
The new Cadillac.
I can't even see if it's the same story or not. It's not even showing. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Get on the unemployment line. And with little hope of more coronavirus relief from the government, the U.S. could be on the brink of a second wave of layoffs. Plus, the House of Representatives dropped a 450-page report on the anti-competitive behavior of big tech. We read through it with an expert on antitrust law. And finally, popular stock trading app Robinhood is growing like crazy and leaving its competitors in the dust. I'm Mackenzie Segalos, and this is CNBC After Hours. Another day, another round of dashed hopes for additional coronavirus relief from the federal government. But investors are still bullish. Not only did all three major indices finish higher, but all 11 S&P sectors closed in the green as well. Even the airlines rallied, despite House Speaker Nancy Pelosi making it clear that a standalone airline aid bill is a non-starter. The back and forth discussions on payroll funds for airlines between Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin heated up after President Trump called off all COVID relief negotiations until the election. only to seemingly reverse course and urge Congress to pass stimulus measures. So here's the deal. Pelosi wants a large package with aid for unemployment benefits, state and local governments, small businesses, and airlines. The Trump administration isn't into the big price tag of something that massive. They'd rather pass measures in a piecemeal fashion. But it looks like that's not going to happen either. Now, as the two sides in Washington stare each other down, America is in the middle of what can only be described as a jobs crisis. We learned this morning that 840,000 people filed first-time jobless claims last week. That's thousands more than economists were expecting. These numbers are high, really, really high, and they paint a picture of a stalling economy. Now, yes, they're lower than the numbers that we saw in March, but they've been roughly the same for weeks now. Not to mention the fact that they're significantly higher than the country's last recession in 2008. These first-time claims peaked at 695,000 back then. Right now, they've been above that level for 29 straight weeks. 25.5 million Americans are collecting some type of unemployment benefit right now. And the layoffs, well, they just keep coming. Disney, Goldman Sachs, and Warner Media are just some of the companies that announced mass layoffs in the past week and a half. Without a stimulus bill from Congress to give the economy a shot in the arm, it's likely going to get worse. The last 10 days, multiple companies from different industries have announced plans to lay off more workers, and it really coincides with these stalled stimulus talks taking place in Washington, plus other data that points to an inconsistent recovery in the U.S. economy. There are parts of the U.S. economy that are doing well, for example, e-commerce. Just look at Amazon sales numbers. But then there are other parts of the economy that are still struggling. Travel and hospitality industry I cover, nearly half of the 17 million jobs in the hospitality industry were lost in March and April. Since then, about 4.5 million have been restored. However, if a stimulus bill is not passed, there's some interesting data from tourism economics. They say that over 1.3 million jobs will be lost by December. Without that relief, airlines are warning of further pain ahead. We've already seen a number of airlines announce layoffs. Airlines comprise the largest segment in travel. It's a capital-intensive business, and for that reason, they're really depending on that additional relief. And then I would pivot to hotels. We're seeing a growing number of hotel owners miss debt payments. That's resulting in defaults. Already, some high-profile names have closed their doors. Hilton Times Square, for example, had to do that. So then that, of course, leads to more job losses. There are a couple different initiatives that companies are using. One program is a temporary leave of absence, and then Southwest using pay cuts as a way to retain their staff. Chevron overnight asking some employees to reapply for their positions. So these are examples that shed light on how companies are trying to implement different strategies to avoid further layoffs. So the mixed messages from Washington are certainly confusing, to say the least. From the people I've spoken to, whether it's small business owners or travel agents, it's really kept them on edge. And it's also frustrating for some of them to know that it's politics getting in the way potentially of a deal. Okay, let's get to our sound check. Here's a roundup of the day's biggest action and what the top newsmakers and business leaders had to say on CNBC's airwaves.
I'm particularly concerned, and it ought to concern us all, that the objection is about, bailing out blue states and red states not needing it, so-called. There are Americans living in all of those states, and many of those Americans are hurting.
It's clear that the cable cord cutters have probably held off until the start of the sports season to pick up their virtual subscription. So we think the tailwind is very strong. We also have college football starting up in the next few weeks, and we feel we're going to be strong into the end of the year.
We are maniacally focused on hybrid cloud and AI. We believe that we can deliver strong growth with the company, with the financial flexibility that we will create through this transaction for the company to be able to grow. And that's what I'm committed to. I'm committed to sustainable growth and accelerating growth over time on those opportunities.
Shut up. Next door. Oops. DraftKings, come on in and make it. Mm-hmm.
Killed outside of her home overnight on the south side.
Now, doctors were able to deliver the woman's baby. WGN's Tanya Francisco joins us live from Comer Children's Hospital, where the baby is getting treatment. Now, Tanya?
Ray and Micah, at last check, the baby was in critical condition, and as you reported, we have learned some new information since my report at 4 o'clock. We have learned that infant's mother, Stacy Jones, was a probation officer in the Cook County Court Adult Probation Department. She had worked there since April of 2019. Now, if that had something to do with her death, it's not clear at this hour, but police are telling us they do not believe that her shooting was random. The calm of this normally quiet Southside neighborhood was rocked overnight with the murder of a pregnant mother. Police say 35-year-old Stacy Jones was 8 months along when she was shot while standing on her front porch.
I heard about 2 shots.
Alan Jones lives next door but is not related to the victim. He just so happened to be up around midnight working on his computer when he heard the shots.
No screaming, no noise, no nothing, just 2 shots.
Elliot Cobb, who lives down the street in the 2100 block of the East 95th Place, says his wife also heard the gunfire.
She said she heard 3 measured shots. They weren't quick shots. They were measured shots. And whoever did it wanted to do it, obviously.
Police found Jones lying on the porch with 2 gunshot wounds to her back. She was rushed to the hospital where doctors delivered her baby, but were unable to save her.
Absolutely horrific.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot says detectives have a very good set of leads they're aggressively following. She says in the meantime, we have to say a prayer for Jones and the 2 young children and a newborn she leaves behind.
There's a lot of things that happen in this city, but this is without a doubt one of the worst.
Those 2 young children are now staying with relatives, and we noticed when we were in the Jeffrey Manor neighborhood this afternoon that there were several surveillance cameras in the area. Hopefully they'll be able to provide police with some leads into tracking down who murdered this mother of 3. I'm live this evening in Hyde Park at Comer Children's Hospital. Tanya Francisco, WGN News.
Oh.
This weekend, we're at the big debut of The Incredibles 2, and now we've learned the film's popularity sparked a violent fight at Stonebriar Mall. Teresa Woodard reports.
With people fighting all around him, a 17-year-old is laid out on the mall floor for at least 24 seconds before someone stomps right on his head. A moment that's too violent for television. And this man says he did it.
I stomped on his head. I ain't sorry from what I did either, because they would have did me the same thing.
18-year-old Sincere Wheat is in the Collin County Jail charged with aggravated assault. In a jailhouse interview, he admitted stomping the victim's head, but said he did not throw the punch that knocked him out. Wheat said he was defending himself.
They had a group of guys following me at the mall, and I didn't know what to do, so like everybody looking at me like I'm the bad guy when I'm really the victim. Tell you the truth.
Also charged is Wheat's friend, 18-year-old Jonathan Ivey.
That was me, and I ain't got nothing to do with it.
He denied even being at Stonebriar Center on Friday night.
My name will be clear.
The fight broke out after a movie. Wheat said he told some people to quiet down in the theater. He said that group followed him and tried to hit him, and the brawl began. Cell phone video was shared on social media, and police asked for tips.
The response we got from the public was exactly what you would want to see.
They say several people identified Wheat and Ivey, despite their claims of innocence.
My only response would be I have faith in the justice system. The truth's going to come out one way or another, and that's our jobs, and that's the DA's job, and they're going to do their job, and I have faith in it.
Frisco police say they have a meeting scheduled for next week with the mall security here at Stonebriar Center. We did call and email the mall to ask if any policy changes would be made after this happened. They have not yet responded to us. The victim in this case is out of the hospital and recovering at home. In Frisco, Teresa Woodard, Channel 8 News.
A clever clerk in New Jersey outsmarts two men who walk into his store with their guns drawn, threatening to rob the place. But it didn't go quite as planned. Tommy Torres was working at the Boost Mobile store on 10th Avenue in Patterson when the men barged in demanding money and cell phones. While the men looted the store, Torres snuck out the back door, unlocked it, ran to the front of the business, and pulled down the security gate.
What is the Galaxies? What is the iPhones? That's all they know. We don't have no Galaxy, no iPhone, but any phone that's in the world, you can take anything, whatever you want.
While the robbers were trapped in the store for more than 20 minutes, look at this. Some question why it took 20 minutes for police to arrive, saying the hard part was already done. Patterson Police Director says Internal Affairs is looking into that 20-minute response time.
That rock right there. That rock right there. Man ran around, locked the back door, and came around and pulled down the security gate. Man versus Steel gonna win. They should have been trying to kick that back door open. Ran by the front door.
Police in Truckee say they're on the hunt for a real estate imposter. Lindsay Sowell is accused of posing as a realtor to steal from homes that are for sale. She's wanted on 3 felony counts of residential burglary. Sowell lives in Palm Desert, but is known to frequent the Tahoe Donner area. She may be driving a silver Volkswagen sedan.
Thought she was getting away. Don't think so, sweetie. Thought she was getting away. Keep it going.
Shocking new details in the alleged plot against Governor Whitmer as we learn what may have caused the FBI to start rounding up suspects. The alleged domestic terror plot to kidnap and possibly kill Governor Whitmer tops our news tonight at 6.
Here are the sketches from federal court today in Grand Rapids, where 3 of the men in federal custody were denied bond. Defense attorneys argued there was no real plan, just a lot of talk. But an FBI agent offered disturbing new details on what the men were allegedly discussing. He said the men were also discussing kidnapping Virginia's governor, Ralph Northam, I should say. One suspect, Caleb Franks of Waterford, is allegedly heard in an audio recording talking about his willingness to set fire to Governor Whitmer's vacation home and saying he'd be okay with killing her.
The agent also said Daniel Harris of Lake Orion pushed the idea of shooting and killing Whitmer, possibly posing as a pizza delivery man to get close to her home. Also revealed today is what may have convinced the FBI it was time to take action and start rounding up suspects.
It was a YouTube video by a local man who was upset about a traffic stop. Local 4 defender Sean Lay explains how that online rant led to real movement by agents after months of intelligence gathering.
The FBI had at least 2 men on the inside, giving them information, leading them through this plot week after week, all summer long. But the FBI jumped in and acted October 7th. Why then? It may have been due to a traffic stop down in Canton and threats made against the Canton Police Department.
You need to know who the people are that are taking your rights.
Brandon Casera of Canton, one of the men in federal court today in Grand Rapids, charged in the plot to allegedly kidnap or kill Governor Whitmer, is a self-proclaimed President Trump-hating, government-hating anarchist. And the FBI took note when he went on a YouTube rant in September when Canton police pulled him over.
You gotta know who the enemy is.
The FBI had informants inside following the plot, but Casera's alleged threats made the FBI finally move in, we're told. Casera allegedly told the group they could practice its state house attack, an attack on the governor right in Canton by targeting to kill Canton police officers. The U.S. attorney for this district not ready to talk about that aspect of the case quite just yet.
Can we ask one question about the Canton situation that came up?
So, not today, thank you. Canton police getting back to us if they were aware these threats were being made against them. 3 of the men in court today being held without bond. Bond on 2 others will be decided Friday. In Grand Rapids, Sean Lay, Local 4 Defenders.
All right. We got these wackos running around. Dang, how many videos I got? We gonna get flagged.
It's embarrassing, and I was angry.
It was the unsolicited homecoming.
I found out that was old. My bad, y'all. Now, I found out it was old. Hold on. After I already got it, I had already put it in the list, and then it played, and I looked down and I said, "Oh, this thing from last year."
It's embarrassing, and I was angry.
Can I really be that stupid?
Unsolicited homecoming.
Okay, C18K. 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 I don't see it. It's BK. Okay, there it is. Uh-oh. That's all right. Just give me the link. All right. Next story.
It's embarrassing, and I was angry.
And I still, that's retardism.
Homecoming that left.
That's retardism with the schism and the Shirley Chisholm. You ain't tell me I know it and still picked it up. Oh, I had it twice. Okay. All right. I forgive myself. I had it twice. My bad. My BAD.
You've got big plans for.
Look at the man charged in what police are calling the execution-style murder of a man, a woman, and a 6-year-old little boy. Nicholas Bari faces multiple homicide charges, with all of them facing life sentences. Victor Williams is following today's arraignment, and Victor, this man has a long criminal history.
Yes, that's right. Long criminal history indeed. And we're finally getting a look at him. This right here is Nicholas Bari. Like we said before, he has a long criminal history and now a long list of charges involving the death of 6-year-old Tyrese Moore.
People versus Nicholas Bari.
Nicholas Bari appeared in court, finally answering to a judge for allegedly being the person behind the death of 3, including 6-year-old Tyrese Moore.
Warren PD officers Dylan Wiggins entered the home and found victim number 2, Isis Rimson, black female 28, and victim number 3, Tyrese Moore, a black male 6 years of age, deceased with multiple gunshot wounds in the basement of the home.
He's facing 15 charges, including 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of felony firearm. But while he was inside being arraigned,
I see him leaving his house and he killed my baby.
The mother of Isis Remsen was outside the courtroom, openly grieving and hoping for justice.
My grandbaby will live without her mother for the rest of her life.
Back inside, Byrie wasn't able to afford an attorney, asking the court to appoint one for him.
I think I should get an attorney. You want the court? I think yeah, maybe I need to get appointed one. Okay.
But whatever you did, was it worth it? And you still don't have money to get your own, and you need a court-appointed attorney?
And as far as the motive in this horrific case,
it was all about drugs and money. And I'll leave it at that.
My daughter, 6-year-old stepson, her fiance, they deserve to rest in peace. Was material things and money worth these people's lives?
Now, in the past, Byrie has been charged with possession of narcotics. On top of that, breaking and entering. He's due back in court on October the 22nd.
He's junkie.
Reporting live in Warren, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Why was she with a junkie? Her being with a junkie cost her and her son life. Because she wanted to lay up with the junkie. She wanted to lay up with the junkie. Well, now young ladies are going to make better decisions. Women keep thinking they can change a man. No, you can't. Can't change a junkie.
Lowering bad cholesterol.
Can't do it.
Still charging customers. That is what a local spa is accused of doing after shutting down during the COVID-19 pandemic. Customers of the Blair Med Spa in Spring say that they have been charged numerous times for services that they can no longer get. Channel 2's Andy Sirota live in our newsroom tonight with more on the investigation that's now underway. Andy?
Chris, authorities are building a case against the spa owner. We're not naming him because he's not yet been charged with a crime. So far, 9 victims have been identified, but tonight fraud investigators say they have every reason to believe there may be a lot more. $99 a month is what Julie Smith paid for the signature facial membership program at Blair Med Spa in Spring.
The facial plan, it was things that other spas charged a lot more for.
When COVID hit, the spa closed its doors, yet Smith says her credit card was still being charged the $99 a month in March, April, and May.
I just assumed I was going to have those credits, for lack of a better word, whenever they opened back up.
As COVID restrictions eased and Houston area businesses started opening back up, Smith used her credit card to book an appointment online.
They charged my credit card, which I was a little irritated at, but I thought I'd just be able to talk to them when I got there to do my appointment and they'd reverse it. Never got a response.
When she drove there in July, this is what she saw. The lights were off, the doors locked. Smith left with the realization that she'd been charged for services she would no longer be able to get. Smith was recently contacted by the Harris County District Attorney's Consumer Fraud Division and learned she was not alone. An investigation was launched after the former spa owner and lien holder claimed the owner cashed a $31,000 insurance check at a bank by forging his signature. Smith says the charges to her card stopped in June. She's out close to $430 and doubts she'll ever see a penny of that.
It's definitely made me leery of doing memberships where they auto draft your account. For sure. I haven't done one since.
I called the spa owner for a comment, and tonight we are still awaiting a response. If you're a former customer and the same thing happened to you, fraud investigators want to hear from you. Call the Harris County Constable's Dispatch at
Homeboy got that money. But you ain't getting this money back. All right, y'all. This is a follow-up on the story we did. Y'all gonna remember this. Why I keep hitting the wrong thing? Y'all gonna remember the story. Sick man. I don't understand.
Look, she just had a baby and we had no idea she was pregnant.
Ever since the dramatic December day played out at Hacienda Healthcare, a lot has happened. But now we're getting a look at the official police report from the Hacienda investigation. We'll warn you, parts of it are disturbing. For example, when the victim, who police confirm was unable to talk, move, swallow, or breathe normally, was brought to the hospital, a doctor said she showed signs of being sexually active and having given birth before, suggesting this may not have been the only time the woman had a baby. Interviews with Hacienda nurses and employees indicate the woman's stomach had been bloated for 4 months, and she had no menstruation for 6 months. A doctor ordered an ultrasound, but the test was declined by the diagnostic company. The police report even says that in 2002, the victim was part of a group of patients who were believed to have been touched inappropriately.
Got a DNA, have the person in custody, and he's in jail.
And then there's the accused, Nathan Sutherland, arrested after a DNA match. In the report, employees say after the baby was born, Sutherland called in sick for the next 2 to 3 Sundays and told one employee he was going through a rough time and asked her to pray for him.
And I will tell you something that as an investigator, as a member of our community, that I look at as important is this was an employee rather than a stranger who made his way into the facility.
Police say Sutherland was a licensed practical nurse who had direct contact with the victim. Through a court order, they got DNA from Sutherland and say it matched with the victim's baby.
Mr. Sutherland, may I have your full name, please?
Nathan Darcy Sutherland.
And your date of birth?
3/31/1982.
Standing next to his attorney in court today, a judge reads off the serious charges he's facing. A prosecutor, off camera, says the state will not settle for anything less than prison time.
The defendant sexually assaulted a very vulnerable adult who had no capacity to resist, no capacity to cry out, no capacity to do anything other than be subject to what the defendant did to her.
One of our concerns is whether other victims or how many times this occurred. We may not know how many times this occurred.
The only allegation at this point is that there's DNA.
So do you believe the client is innocent?
I believe the client is entitled to due process and proof beyond a reasonable doubt, as all defendants are.
In court, Gregan told the judge there's no proof Sutherland is the guy.
There's no direct evidence that Mr. Sutherland has committed these acts. I know at this point there is DNA. Mr. Sutherland will have a right and have his own DNA expert.
So what can you tell us about the DNA? You were talking.
I can't tell you anything, but I haven't received discovery, but there's an allegation of DNA. That's all I can tell you at this point.
And so you guys, do you plan to challenge that?
Well, we plan to have it tested for sure.
So you will run your own DNA tests?
Oh, correct.
Judge set Sutherland's bond at $500,000 cash, which his attorney argued is excessive since Sutherland does not have a criminal history.
All right, joining me now to talk more about this case is a person who knows a lot about Arizona law, Kirk Nerby. Joins us, Kirk, of course, represented Jody Arias in the state of Arizona versus Arias, also the author of terrific books about this Trapped with Miss Arias. Kirk, thank you so much for joining us. This case, if you're defending this defendant, there sure seems to be a lot here. Is it about testing the DNA independently, getting that, figuring out if that is your strategy? How would you go about defending in this case?
Yeah, Ted, a lot of sympathy goes out to our lawyers because this case is so clear, but it is really, you zero in on the perfect point. It is all about the DNA. And we heard a little bit in the excerpt beforehand, the lawyer's going to seek his own DNA test, and that's exactly what we're going to see here, Ted. We're going to see a battle of DNA experts. The defense is going to say that something was done wrong in the DNA testing, and actually Mr. Sutherland is not the person who fathered this child. Because remember, Ted, in all this horrific stuff, we have a baby here whose DNA is really the key here as well. So what they're going to argue with their DNA experts, and it's going to be a battle of DNA experts, whether or not this was, in fact, Mr. Sutherland's baby.
And the other thing is this sort of house of horrors where this woman was being kept. Now, it has been completely, the management has changed, and I think he's even changed ownership, is now reopened. But at the time, it seems as though there were a lot of problems inside this facility, the Hacienda Healthcare. In fact, they didn't know she was pregnant until she gave birth. Could you... I would bring this up too. I would assume if you're trying to defend Sutherland here that this place was so poorly run, nobody knows who did this.
Well, that's one possibility. It's hard to believe with all these doctors, all these nurses around, that no one noticed that this incapacitated woman was pregnant. And, you could take that angle, but I don't think if I was in this case, I would, Ted. It would be straight DNA. Of course, now I don't know what the DNA results say of the independent testing, but I've also been in court with this particular prosecutor before. We've gone to trial together. I know he's pretty straightforward. I think he's going to be focusing on the DNA. And if I'm the defendant, I do the same thing, because no matter what negligence, no matter what kind of crazy and horrific stuff, like you said, a house of horrors, no matter what kind of crazy and horrific stuff they find, it doesn't matter if that DNA matches to this baby. So that's where my focus would be, and I'm sure that's where the state's focus is.
Yeah, it seems it's going to be pretty hard to fight the DNA. It's not as though that the sample is limited, or the way that it was collected was bad because there's enough samples to go around. You can do it 100 times, given that both people are still alive and well. When you have a client like this, and you say the prosecutor in this case, are you surprised that a deal hasn't been brokered?
Well, this was pretty high profile, and there's a lot of moving parts, right? You mentioned all the things that could have been going on in Hacienda, and I think the horrific nature of this, and given the strength of the case, maybe the prosecutor isn't that worried about, resolving the case. It's not going to be a long trial. We're not going to see 5 or 6 months like I endured in Arizona courtroom. We're going to see a pretty straightforward case of DNA experts, and that's not going to take a ton of time. And of course,
all right, let's check our CV numbers. I'm starting to get tired. I think that AC getting to me now. 8,150,043 known cases of coronavirus in the United States. 221,843 deaths. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm getting tired of this. Let's just get through this. California, 3,435 new cases. They lost 104 people. Texas, 5,647 new cases. They lost 112 people. Florida, 2,883. They lost 64 people. New York, 1,308 new cases. They lost 23 people. Georgia, sweet Georgia on my mind. Georgia, 1,297 cases. They lost 16. Illinois, 2,862. They lost 48. North Carolina, could nothing be finer than hanging out on the shores of Carolina. North Carolina, 1,926 cases. They lost 40 people today. North Carolina is number 7. Arizona, 901 people, new cases. They lost 5. Tennessee, 1,709. They lost 31. And they passed New Jersey Tennessee. Look at that. 538, 196. That's the difference. That 1709 they put up to that 1,000. Look at that. Pennsylvania, 1,282, they lost 23. Ohio, 2,036, they lost 15. Louisiana, 320, they lost 16. Alabama, 784, they lost 41. Virginia, 805, they lost 9. South Carolina, 926, they lost 17. Wisconsin, 33,107, they lost 28. Michigan, what up there? 1,593, they picked up 13. Missouri, 2,384, they lost 20. Massachusetts, 580 new cases, they lost 17. Indiana, Phoenix, 1,165, they lost 14. Maryland, oh Maryland, talking about my state of Maryland, 575, 10 people died. Thank God I'm not one of them. Sweet Maryland, my state of Maryland. Minnesota picked up 1,369 and lost 29. And then we got M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. Mississippi picked up 876, lost 25. Oklahoma, 1,122, lost 13. Iowa, 371, they lost 12. Washington State, 756, they lost 10. Arkansas, 1,079, they lost 23. Utah, 1,114, they lost 5. Nevada, 479, lost 17. Kentucky, 1,322, they lost 7. Colorado, 692, lost 7. Kansas, where's Dorothy and Toto at? They lost 1,454, 39 new cases. Connecticut, 164, they lost 4. Nebraska, 924, they lost 3. Idaho potatoes picked up 645, lost 4. Oregon, 380, lost 3. New Mexico, 577, lost 3. South Dakota, 876, lost 3. North Dakota, 702, lost 8. Rhode Island, 204, they lost 8. Delaware, 71, and they lost 1. Montana, 599, lost 8. West Virginia, 263, lost 4. District of Columbia, 60-40, and they lost 1. Hawaii, 99, they lost 10. Alaska, 143, they lost 4. New Hampshire, 70, they lost 2. Wyoming, 213, no losses. Maine, 36, no losses. Vermont, 3 losses. Puerto Rico, 976, they lost 4. No stats for Guam, Virgin Islands, or Maria Islands. U.S. military picked up 1,382, no losses. Veteran Affairs picked up 433, 35 losses. Federal prisons, 233, no losses. Navajo Nation, 43, no losses. Mm-hmm. I know I'm getting tired. All right, that's what they're passing. So, total cases, 8,150,043. New cases, 59,693 new cases today. Total deaths, 221,843. New deaths, 970. That's your CV stats for the day. All right, y'all, I'm going to go watch the wrestling. Eat the rest of my food. I nibbled on some of it live. I will see y'all later on today. As Naya would say, I will see y'all soon. I'm tired, so let me get out of here. Y'all have a great night. All right, y'all. We out of 5,000. Y'all have a great night. Thanks, everybody who watched. Y'all have a great night. And I will see you later on today. Have a good one. We out.